Get ready for a captivating continental football extravaganza. KBC Channel 1 brings you exclusive coverage of the 2026 Women's Africa Cup of Nations, WAFCON. From Sunday the 26th of July to Sunday the 16th of August 2026, welcome to Morocco! Morocco is the battleground as Nigeria defend their title against 15 other nations fighting to lift the prestigious trophy. Who will be crowned Queens of African Football? Courtesy of the Ministry of Youth Affairs, Creative Economy and Sports. Watch all the action unraveling on KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
Hope for a draw, but draw. Oh, that's a great ball. They've split open the defence with Diogo. She tried to open up that left foot and get a decent shot. You can see what she was trying to do. And mechanically speaking, yeah, she's in a good position to do that. But time-wise, no. You've got too many players closing you down. Sometimes you really got it. It would be better on the right foot because she would have protected herself a little bit more. But with other players, with the Tanzanian defence coming down towards her, not easy. It's the wrong choice. Well, that was it. Touched too many.
Wiki hii kwenye Mkulima tunaangazia ufugaji wa mbwa aina mbalimbali hapa nchini Kenya.
Correction inaingia mahali dogi labda ni mkali sana na wewe umeshindwa kummanage. Sasa hiyo kali yake imezidi. Hizo training ndo tunafanya sasa, dogi anarekebika. Hiyo ndo ni correction. Tuna correct mbwa wako anakuwa ako sawa.
Na kisha jinsi ya kumtunza.
Well, the debate around second-hand clothes has been raging for more than 30 years since Kenya started or allowed the importation of second-hand clothes. And the debate has always been, do you control the import, do you ban, or do you allow second-hand clothes to compete with new clothes? And that has always been the debate. Good morning and thank you very much for joining us. We're coming to you live from Broadcasting House. This is Base Check, and today our conversation is going to revolve around the second-hand industry, the second-hand clothes industry, their socio-development, their socio-economic impact on Kenya's long-term economic development, and of course, what the policymakers are saying about this. My name is O'Brien Kimani. We are live from Broadcasting House. At O'Brien Kimani is my Twitter handle. My guest today is the CEO of Kenya Consortium, of Mitumba Consortium Association of Kenya. This is Martin Gitau. He's been telling me that he's very passionate about Mitumba. He was brought up on Mitumba, and actually, he was telling me that even today, he's coming up on my show wearing Mitumba. Is that true?
Absolutely.
So tell me things. I mean, do you drink Mitumba? Do you smoke Mitumba? If it's all you smoke, do you sleep Mitumba? Do you eat Mitumba? Do you breathe Mitumba?
Mitumba is my life. It's the life of many common Kenyans who thrive and live on Mitumba. I mean, the sector supports about 2 million Kenyans who work in the sector. These are people who trade, sell Mitumba. If you go to Gikomba right now, there's a whole value chain that is supported by Mitumba. You're talking about people who we call Beba. These are the guys who load and offload bales. We have tailors in the market. These tailors are the ones who repair clothes. Sometimes you may find a bale, maybe there's a loose button, so there's a guy who will now come and stitch it up. So these are people who work within the sector, about 2 million plus who work in this sector. And this data is coming from the government. This is the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics data that was done in 2020. So it's a reality. Mitumba is part of us. It's a big economic mover for Kenya, and it's here to stay.
You are a big supporter of the importation and, of course, the business of second-hand clothes. When did this love start for you?
About 5-6 years back. So I'll tell you the story.
Were you brought up on Mitush?
Yes, I grew up wearing mitumba. That's what we used to do. My aunt used to sell mitumba, so she used to sell that to us. So it's even years you grew up, you remember. You used to wear clothes, then you pass it down to your cousin or to your brothers. So it has been part of the Kenyan culture of donating and giving clothes for extending what we usually call it is extending end of life for textile. So that's what we have all grown up in. I'm sure almost 90% of Kenyans have gone through that process of wearing second-hand clothes or passed down clothes from generation to generation. So it's part of the Kenyan culture, it's part of the global culture of donating clothes that you do not wear anymore. And so it's part of us.
When you meet former employees of Kikomi, of Rivertex, of many other gineries, that collapsed back in the 1990s because of our proliferation of second-hand clothes, what do you tell them?
One thing that there's a very big misconception in terms of what caused the collapse of the local textile industry. It is not the proliferation of second-hand clothes. Second-hand clothes came in to step into a gap that was left vacant by the collapse of that sector. Because
but the importation of second-hand clothes accelerated that process. We do realize that there was serious mismanagement of these textile companies, especially government-owned.
Yes.
But they were struggling actually to feed the market. But the importation of second-hand clothes accelerated the demise of these companies.
Just to collect you a little bit, ours was stepping into that gap. You remember growing up where you used to see your uncle wearing trousers with bunches everywhere. It's because of the cost of clothes. New clothes were more expensive and not affordable to everyone. Just the other day when second-hand clothes were banned because of COVID, we went to the local textile, EPZ, and asked them what would be the cheapest pair of jeans that you'd make. What would that cost? And they were like, the cheapest would be about 800 Kenyan shillings. Not every Kenyan can afford 800 Kenyan shillings to buy jeans. You have a family of 5 or 6 people that you have to clothe. Not everyone can be able to afford that. So it's the cost of doing business that led to the collapse of the second-hand clothes. Also, lack of raw material. Even right now, people who are producing who are making clothes here, they don't have raw material. They're bringing them from India, Pakistan, Uganda. That's where they're getting their cotton from. So what we need to do, and the government of Kenya is very intentional in terms of growing the local textile industry. They've given subsidies for farmers who want to grow cotton, who want to be able now to get into that sector. And that is what is required, because we need to bring down the cost of production. The cost of production is not, it cannot compete with the second-hand clothes. Second-hand clothes just came to fill a gap that was left vacant. What we are offering people is options. And what we've been saying is we can coexist. There's a report by KIPRA that was done. I will share with you that report. KIPRA is a government agency that does research. And they say that there is opportunity for both markets to coexist in the Kenyan economy, both the local textile and the second-hand clothes, because we serve different markets. O'Brien will not go to Gikomba to buy a shirt. You go to maybe Waikiki or another shop in town to buy a new shirt, but not everyone can be able to do that. So we serve different markets, different segments that serve the different economic parameters.
Do you have an example of an economy which, where the textile industry, where the cotton industry has thrived with the importation of second-hand clothes? Do you have a study case in the world?
No, I wouldn't say that I have one, but a lot of, even in Europe right now, there's a very big movement in terms of bringing in second-hand clothes.
They call them thrift.
Yes, thrifting. There's a very big movement that is now opening up. In the UK, you have Oxford that is opening up shops in the UK for second-hand clothes, because at the end of the day, we are caring about the environment. There's an overproduction of clothes. So it's a call for action for everyone that we need to extend end of life for textiles. People in Europe and the US, they will buy clothes in winter. After winter, they throw them away. That is a 3 months, 4 months wear. Then they throw them away. They don't want to wear them again, or because of seasons and of course lifestyle. So there's a movement that is now calling for people more responsibility in terms of you need to be aware in terms of how long are you wearing these clothes and what are you wearing exactly.
You know, I was going through the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics economic analysis for 2025, and it was talking about the fact that Kenya imported second-hand clothes worth about 180,000 metric tons in 2025, becoming the biggest importer of second-hand clothes in Africa, overtaking South Africa, which until 2021 was the biggest, and of course overtaking Nigeria. And I was seated here and I'm asking myself, what if all these clothes were made in Kenya? What would be the economic impact of this?
It would be great. It would be an amazing movement for economy to be able to produce that kind of tonnage of clothes in Kenya. But as I said, it's something that is in progress. And we as Mitumba Association, we actually support the growth of the local production of textiles, because we would want our people to be able to wear their own clothes produced here. But as of the moment, as I said, we do not have a local textile industry. Even the cotton that they're using here, we have to get it from Pakistan and India. We have to get it from Uganda.
Cotton is very small.
Yes. So that's something that we need to look into as a country. As I said, the government is intentional in terms of developing local farmers in growing cotton and what is needed for us to grow the local textile industry. But yes, it's about 189 metric tons, but note that some of those, most of that, actually, because Kenya is positioned because of the port, we are supplying to Uganda and other regional countries that are around here. So what comes in is split between Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda.
So what people don't actually realize is that it's not just Africa that imports second-hand clothes, second-hand shoes. They do the same in Europe. They do the same in the US. They do the same in China. And the question that I have been asking myself is, how do we ensure that we don't become a dumping site for cast-offs?
So what we do as the traders in second-hand clothes, we work with sorting organizations. We have people who sort in Pakistan, people sorting companies in Dubai, and there are standards that have to be met. Those standards are set by KBC in terms of what comes in. So Kenya, we are only allowed to bring in grade 1 and 2 of clothes.
How many grades are there?
There are about 6.
6 grades?
Yes, there are about 6 grades, even more, depending on the country. But
the
Kenya,
top quality is grade 1?
Top grade is grade 1, and then top 2. Or A and B, others will call it. There's A and B. So that is the only one that we're allowed to bring into Kenya. So for that, there are companies that have been qualified, pre-qualified by KEBS to be able to sort and bring in clothes that are wearable. People talk about waste, that we are dumping clothes, but there's no dumping. Go to Gikomba right now. If I open a bale, I will sell everything in that bale. So there's no waste that is going there. Yeah.
Well, if Kenya Bureau of Standards, has specifications and of course standards on what we are supposed to import, and you're talking about grade A and B, then it would be assumed that grade A and B are expensive.
They are expensive more than, of course, grade C and D, but they are manageable to majority of Kenyans. They are affordable.
How would they compare with, for example, a locally manufactured pair of jeans?
Way cheaper. I mean, it's way cheaper. Yeah.
But we also should not sit here and assume that second-hand clothes are also, all second-hand clothes are cheap.
No.
I mean, I've seen second-hand clothes suits that will cost you almost 40,000 shillings.
That's true. That's why there's a different... I'm sure everyone knows about the issue of the camera. So those camera is now the top tier in terms of the clothes. And those are the expensive ones now. That is now the top tier in terms of mitumba. So those ones you'll find they're a little bit more expensive than the normal clothes. But the quality is, of course, they're expensive because the quality is good. This is where you find an original Nike shirt, you find an original Nike shoe. So these are there are people who are who specifically sell that kind of attire to specific kind of people.
Do you see the future of Mutumba in the era of cheap imported clothes that are coming from Turkey, that are coming from China, Pakistan, and India?
I would say this. As I said, I believe that our economy is large enough to be able to accommodate all these kind of things. I think, yes, our biggest threat right now for Kenya and for the world is the ultra-fast fashion. That's what we call ultra-fast fashion, which is coming from China and Turkey, as you're saying. But it's a matter of choices for consumers. It's choices for consumers. There are people who would prefer to go shop at LC Waikiki, Mr. Price. There are people who still prefer go to toy market and look for good second-hand clothes. So it's a choice for consumers in terms of what you want and what is on your budget. So it's about budget and needs.
Allow me to address these, using statistics. And I was, going through the report, and in the year 2024, Kenya imported new clothes worth about 95,000 metric tons.
Yeah.
In the same year, we did 180,000 second-hand, metric tons worth of second-hand goods. In 2020, we imported about 65,000 metric tons of new clothes. And the trend is that the importation of new clothes is growing faster at a rate of 15%, while the rate of imported second-hand clothes is growing at a rate of 10%, which means that if the trend persists, you're likely to see new clothes surpassing, the importation of second-hand clothes. Does this give you sleepless nights as the CEO of Mitumba Consortium of Kenya?
Not really. If you compare that, we're doing double of what the new clothes are bringing in. And as I said, it's a matter of customer choice. And also, it shows that, of course, that also the economy is growing, that people are preferring to buy new clothes. And there's a report that we did on coexistence of second-hand clothes, and it shows you the metric in terms of there are people who will buy new clothes and second-hand clothes, depending on seasons, depending, of course, on occasions. Most people, they will buy clothes on events, especially our ladies. If they're going for a wedding, they will buy a new dress because of that. They will buy, if Christmas, you're buying your children new clothes. So it's a choice that people make. People will save to buy new clothes, but when there's no money, then you go to second-hand clothes. So for us, it's giving customers choices in terms of what you want and what your budget can be able to afford. Yeah.
Help me understand this. I have heard this from, different quarters that there is an avenue that Kenya can pursue to become the sorting hub of second-hand clothes in Africa, whereby we import in large volumes, then the sorting is done here, and then it is dispatched in various countries. Do you think this is an avenue that we can pursue as a nation?
It is actually something that we have been keen on. We have met Minister of Treasury, Bandi. We spoke about it. We've been speaking with the Special Economic Zone as well to see what are the possibilities of Kenya becoming a sorting hub for the region. It is a good opportunity for us to be able now to create more employment for Kenyans, and Kenya foreign currency. So it's a big opportunity. Dubai, Pakistan now are thriving in that economy because they're the biggest sorters right now, because of course of labor. So bringing that to Kenya, there's more labor here, affordable labor, than in the UK and in Europe. Most of the sorting hubs in Europe are being closed down because it's becoming very expensive. So they're looking for opportunities where they can be able now to sort. So it's an opportunity for us to be able to become an African sorting hub for second-hand clothes. And when you say we are sorting...
Currently, who is doing that?
Most of our clothes in Kenya and the bigger region of Africa are being sorted in Pakistan and Dubai.
In Pakistan?
Yeah, Pakistan and Dubai. So they sort and sent to Kenya, Ghana, Nigeria, all those countries. So it's been done in Pakistan and Dubai and Oman. So those are the biggest sorting hubs right now. So we can be able to position ourselves as a sorting hub for the region. And when we say sorting is, we're bringing in clothes, so we're able now to determine what comes into the country. Because when you sort like in a special economic zone, that means that you're able now to control what goes out, what comes into the Kenyan economy, what goes out to the other regions.
What would it take us, to take a piece of the sorting business from Dubai, from Oman, and from Pakistan, and of course concentrate on the African market, bearing in mind that Africa is the biggest importer of second-hand clothes in the world?
Yeah, it will be a significant impact to us. Of course, first of all, the job creation aspect. So for us, we need to, and we have our own traders and our importers who already know exactly what our customer needs are. So it's easier for them to decide, these are the clothes that we want, these are not the clothes that we want. So it becomes easier to train our people in terms of what we are sorting, and now creating employment and the revenue that we are going to bring into the country as an African hub, sorting hub.
Do you see the government becoming purposeful and becoming more strategic in going that direction?
We would think so. We would imagine that is something that the government would want.
Is your imagination being driven by any statistics or by any evidence?
Yes, we have been having those discussions. Even both the Minister of Trade, we've been trying to have that conversation with the Minister of Trade, Lee, to see how is it possible for us to have a sorting center. As I told you, we already had a meeting with the Special Economic Zone to see is it possible to have sorting center incubated within the special economic zones, and if that will be what would be requirement, and they give us the requirements of what we need to do, and what the process with that would be. So it's a conversation that is ongoing, and we're hoping that by the end of the year we'll be able to lock down and say that yes, we are able to have this sorting center. We met the president in February. He called us at State House as a
consortium.
Yes, as a Mitumba consortium. So, and one of the things that we told him is we would want to have a sorting hub. Kenya to become a sorting hub in Africa. So those are one of the issues that we raised with the president, and it's a conversation that now he has extended now to the different directorates and the ministries for us now to have that conversation.
You see, almost 98% of all imported second-hand clothes in Kenya, they come through the port of Mombasa. Just adjacent to the port of Mombasa, you have the Dongo Kundu Special Economic Zone. Is that a suitable location for Kenya to set up its sorting hub there?
Absolutely. And that would be the best positioning for us to have the sorting center in Mombasa. It's convenient, logistically it also works for us, but there has been delay, of course, in Dongokungu because of issues of land and compensations. So it's when we spoke to the Special Economic Zone, we started this conversation with them almost 4 years ago of us getting a space there. So it's the delay has been majorly because of the delay in payments and compensation of landowners. So it's something that we would really want to take up. Yeah.
When you had a conversation with the president, what was you asking as a consortium, and how did the president respond?
Our biggest ask, first of all, was in terms of taxes. We pay almost about 35% of duty on second-hand clothes. New clothes pay 20%.
Yeah.
Then
is it 20 or 25?
25%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then
you do 30.
Yeah, as we do 35.
35.
It's 35. So, and we don't have an issue with that. So our biggest ask was, can we have a consolidated way of collecting taxes? I mean, you know, our people, they're not, most of them are school dropouts. They're not well versed in terms of accounting. They don't have accountants in their companies. These are individuals. So we asked can we get one place where we can just pay all the taxes at the point of entry? That is when we met the Minister of Finance, Badi, and he agreed to that. And the proposal came in the finance bill where we were to pay. There was an assumed profit of 5% of the total value of clothes that you have brought in. So that 5% is what was to be taxed, the 30% duty. So which was coming to about 1.5% of the total value. But Parliament did not pass it. It was dropped because there was a misunderstanding in terms of what was really needed. But it's something that we're having a conversation with Treasury to see if we can be brought in back again in September, October, as an amendment to the tax bill. Yeah.
We've seen countries that have banned totally the importation of second-hand clothes here in Africa, and I will start with Burkina Faso, Rwanda, I think Sierra Leone, if I'm not wrong. Paint for us a picture where if one day the government wakes up and say no importation of second-hand clothes, what would happen?
Well, I'll give you like Rwanda and Ethiopia, for example, and Uganda right now. There's what you open up yourself to smuggling, because that is now what is happening in Rwanda, Ethiopia, and Uganda. There's a lot of smuggling of second-hand clothes.
From Kenya?
Yes, from Kenya and other places. So people are smuggling in second-hand clothes into those countries. So what happens is the government loses revenue, but the trade still continues. I was in Uganda 2 weeks ago, and I can tell you that it's they revoked all licenses for importers and then gave a few licenses to a few people. So the few people now are holding the market as a hostage. But they're bringing in their clothes in big numbers, but only a few traders who are benefiting. So what you do is you open up yourself to such kind of a trade, where it's not an open trade anymore. It's people who are smuggling in clothes. And then the government loses taxes, the government is losing control of the trade, and people are just trading everywhere and anywhere. Yeah. So that would be the risk. Yeah.
Very well. I mean, in case you're joining us, we're coming to you live from Broadcasting House with the time coming to 11:29. We're having a good conversation here with Martin Gitao. He's the CEO of Mitumba Consortium Association of Kenya, and he's pitching a case on why Mitumba is the way to go to drive the fashion industry in Kenya. My name is O'Brien Kimani. We are taking our first break. We are coming back with more conversations. Stay right here.
Conan waits, steps up. Conan takes Abbas the wrong way to make it 2-0 for the Côte d'Ivoire. And the joy of these elephants reaches the next level. The frustration for Anastasia Katunzi. And 3 goals. Look at that, straight down the middle. And with Abbas darting off to the right-hand side. Very cool penalty.
Get ready for a captivating continental football extravaganza. KBC Channel 1 brings you exclusive coverage of the 2026 Women's Africa Cup of Nations, WAFCON. From Sunday the 26th of July to Sunday the 16th of August 2026, welcome to Morocco! Morocco is the battleground as Nigeria defend their title against 15 other nations fighting to lift the prestigious trophy. Who will be crowned Queens of African Football? Courtesy of the Ministry of Youth Affairs, Creative Economy and Sports, watch all the action unraveling on KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
You know, can a fashion industry thrive in any country with the importation of second-hand clothing? And can the cotton as well as textile industry also thrive when a country is importing second-hand clothes? That is the quality of conversation that we are having here with Martin Gitau. He is the CEO of the Mitumba Consortium Association of Kenya. He's here with us in studio, and he's pitching a case why Mitumba is the way to go. I would want to hear from you as well. Do you believe in that? Do you agree with him? At O'Brien Keman is my Twitter handle. At KBC Channel 1 is also our X handle. I'm still stuck in the past, you know, talking about Twitter. But you have to forgive me. Let's get into this conversation, Gitau. You are talking about 2 million people, you know, employed in this business.
Yes.
Is that the best that we can do?
It is, I mean, it is an employment factor. So it shows the value in terms of how big the trade is. And this is data that was gathered by the government in 2020. So by now, that number has grown significantly, plus almost to 3 million right now of people who are working in that sector. And these are people who are directly, every day they report to Gikomba, Toy Market, and the markets around Kenya in the second-hand clothes sector. So it's a big number. It's the local textile industry, as per the last data, I think the employment was about 200,000, 250,000. So you can see the significant impact of that. But would want those two sectors to grow together and support each other. Yes.
You know, when you look at the amount of money that, as a nation, we spend in importing, you know, second-hand clothes, you're looking at 38.5 billion Kenya shillings in 2025. This is the amount of money that went out to import. What is the economic value of spending all this money to import all these goods?
Well, we are paying, the sector alone is paying about 17 billion in terms of revenue, duty to Kenyan government, taxes. Pay about 16, 17 billion annually to the exchequer. So that is money that is going directly to the exchequer from the duty that we pay, that 5%. Now we're not even counting the county fees that we have to pay, the individual pay as you earn tax that we're paying. This is just duty. So, I mean, the effect is big and the impact is there. So that's why even the Kenyan government has actually come to realize that this is a big economic mover and we need to engage them. Because they're actually contributing to the Kenyan economy. It may not be big like what EABL Safaricom is paying, but it's a significant amount of money that we're paying from an informal sector.
Going back to the sorting business debate that we were having here, and I know Ghana is also very dedicated and committed together with Nigeria when it comes to establishing the African sorting hubs, in Accra and in Lagos. What do we need to do to accelerate our quest to become Africa's sorting hub for second-hand clothes? Because, I mean, realistically speaking, that is the only way we can earn forex revenue out of this business.
Yeah, I think what we need is more of reset our mind, reset how we think, how we look at second-hand clothes. Second-hand clothes have always been looked at as, I remember one of the leaders saying that these are dead people's clothes. So, which is not true, it's a lie. I will not say who, but you remember that conversation.
Well, I know, it was a president in one of the ESC countries.
It went very bad. So it's a change of mindset in terms of what to look at second-hand clothes. Second-hand clothes, it's as I said in the beginning, is what you pass down to your brothers, to your cousins. It's because I don't need to wear this coat anymore. It's become bigger or it's become smaller. So I pass it down to someone else who can be able to use it. And that is the mindset of second-hand clothes. So what we need to do is change that mindset. That is not a poor people's clothes. It's an economy by itself. So once you do that change of mindset, then now we're able now to have that conversation and tell the government that, look, we can do a sorting hub here. Let Kenya become an African sorting hub. You can do sorting hub. What is being done in Dubai, we can do it here. We can do it better, you see, because we understand the needs of what our people wants to wear. So we can bring it here and this becomes an Africa sorting hub. And now we can supply it across Africa.
When was the last time you went into a shop and bought a new shirt, a new pair of shoes, a new pair of jeans?
Not long ago, I think about a month ago or so.
New?
Yeah. Yes.
So for you, it's a mix of both?
It's a mix of both. And it's according to our research, what we have done, the ones we have done, it's common amongst many people, especially middle class, Nairobi and Kenyan people. It's a mix of both. Sometimes you'll buy a new clothes. The other time you'll find yourself shopping in Think Twice or one of these shops or in Gikomba looking for a shirt or a shoe or something that you need that works for you. 2 weeks ago, I was in a shop and I bought a few shirts, second-hand clothes. So it's a mix of both, I would say that. And it's majority of Kenyans is that. But there are people who now who consume 100% second-hand clothes. Last year, I was in a place in Soweto, in a family of...
Soweto in South Africa?
No, Soweto here, in Nairobi. So there's a lady, she has 5 children, lives in a 1-bedroom house, all the 5 children. And this lady was telling us, I have to make a choice in terms of what do I buy? Who do I buy for? So when you see people selling clothes at 50 shillings, there's a market for it. There are people who will actually buy that shirt for 50 shillings because that is all they can afford. They cannot afford to walk into a new shop and buy clothes. Whether it's Christmas, whether it's a child's birthday, they cannot. So second-hand clothes becomes their primary shopping for them and the family.
In 2016, I mean, the East African community was mulling over a proposal to ban the importation of second-hand clothes, and we saw the US coming in strongly and saying if the EAC region, goes ahead with that proposal, it was going to impose heavy tariffs on exports from Kenya, from the EAC to USA, and about 6 countries chickened out apart from Rwanda. I want to hear from you. I don't know whether you have studied the Rwandan, model. How is their textile industry today?
So yeah, that was I think it was in 2009 when EAC passed that regulation, the policy of phasing out second-hand clothes within a couple of years. But as you said, most countries do not go through with it because, of course, the analysis from the different countries indicated that they are not able to sustain the needs of the market. More because we do not have existing local textile industry that can be able to fill that gap. Well, Rwanda actually have not banned second-hand clothes. What they have done is they have imposed high taxation on second-hand clothes, so which is making it almost impossible for them for you to
same as Uganda.
Yes, same as Uganda. They just added 15% environmental levy from the previous 15, so now it's 30%. So that's what the countries have done. But as I said earlier in the show, that opens up now to the issue of smuggling. A lot of illegal trade of second-hand clothes coming in by not going through the borders the right ways. So there's a lot of smuggling going in. So that's the effect of that kind of a ban. And yes, US is very strict on that because of the AGOA. Now Uganda were deregistered from AGOA, Rwanda as well. They cannot now be able to trade with the US through the AGOA agreement because of that, because that was one of the preconditions of being part of the AGOA agreement of open trade and free trade.
Let's talk about, formalizing the informal sector. And we know that, the Mutumba business is one of the biggest contributors to Kenya's informal business environment. But we are seeing, some emergence of new businesses, highly formal. And I'll give an example of Think Twice, where you were telling me now they have about 60 branches in the country. Do you see an opportunity of formalizing the informal sale of second-hand clothes in Kenya?
Yes, we do. I mean, we have seen about five shops that have opened up that have now formalized in terms of the sale of second-hand clothes. Think Twice being one of them. There's a few others that have done that, where you get into a shopping mall and you buy clothes that are hung in a shelf, like you do in Waikiki or Mr. Price. So it's something that is now growing and coming up, rather than the traditional way where you used to go to Kikomba, you're shifting through clothes that have been laid on the floor. So this is now more formal, more neat. So it gives you more time to be able to choose what you want. It gives you an opportunity to look at what you want to buy. So it's something that is coming up and it's being formalized. And it's something that I think in a few years, that will be the official trade that will be going on. Like now they're doing in the UK or in other countries in the US.
And I've also seen another concept, and probably I don't know whether this is something that there's a consortium you are exploring, whereby you go to these big malls, you go to these big supermarket chains, whereby they have a section for thrift shoes, for thrift clothes. For example, you go to Carrefour, to Tuskys, to Uchumi, to all the other supermarkets, and they have a section whereby it is a section dedicated for selling second-hand clothes, second-hand goods. Is this something that, as a country, we can try?
It is. It is something that we need to actually seriously consider it, because what you're saying is, at the end of the day, we just don't want to be where we are just dumping things. If something can be extended, if something can be reused, why not? I mean, we have been very big on electronics, recycling electronics. So clothes and other things can be a factor as well. I mean, you can, everywhere you go in Kenya, you'll see ex-UK products being sold. We have shops all over Kenya that they're selling ex-UK products, ex-US products. So it's a process of we are just managing the environment. We want a safer environment. By doing that, is you extending the life of goods by extra years. Yeah, and that's something that we need to be encouraged to do. Right now, we're talking about issues of EPR, extended producer responsibility. 2 years ago, NEMA gazetted the NEMA regulation, the EPR regulations. So we have a responsibility as producers, because even us as second-hand clothes, we're being categorized as producers, to protect the environment by paying what we're calling an environmental fee or levy, so that we can be able now to recycle and reuse whatever we introduce into the market.
And I know the National Treasury is working with the Ministry of Environment to see how the environmental levy can be introduced. I know it brought a lot of controversy. As a consortium, what is your position on that?
We are okay with that. Actually, it has already been introduced. They've done it in phases. NEMA is doing it in phases with the various products, but it has already been introduced. They gazetted a fee of $1 per item introduced to the market. So if you're bringing in this water, like the water you're holding, so you pay a fee of $1 for that as an environmental levy. So it has already been done. What we are doing as a consortium is we have formed what we call a producer responsibility organization. So the PRO will be responsible now for generating that income and also now the recovery of those textiles. So we are talking about setting up collection points at homes, setting up collection points in the markets, where if your shirt is torn, you throw it in that bin, then we can be able to now recover. If we can be able to recover the fiber in it, if we can be able now to reuse it or recycle it, we can work with people who do what we call upcycling, who can make fashion out of it. So we extend to the very last end of that garment. Yeah.
Is this something that you're planning to roll out anytime soon?
Yes. We are. So as we speak now, we're in the process of registering the PRO, what we call the Producer Responsibility Organization. So that should be done within the next 1 week or 2 weeks. Then we'll have a sit down with NEMA, and then now we can come up with a work plan and agree on how do we move forward with that.
How do you anticipate it to work? I mean, like, who will be in charge of the infrastructure, the collection, and the sorting and all that? So
the PRO, how it works is, we as producers, we are the owners of the organization. So there is a levy that NEMA will collect, that is the 150 Kenya shillings, which is about $1. So that money now will be redistributed to the various PROs to be able now to set up recycling centers. So we can set up a recycling plant and say that we're recovering fiber from the clothes that are being collected. Those that cannot be recovered, then we will find a way of terms of how do we dispose of this in a very environmental friendly way. Countries like in Oman, in Dubai, they've worked with cement companies who now will used textiles as raw products for power generation. So those are the options that we have and we can be able to work with. Yeah.
And I know this concept, has been, they have piloted this in France and it has worked very well. But the question that I have, that these industries are dealing with is, so how do you deal with dumping of these, of the last products? And this requires, huge and massive landfills. And the question is, so who is going to construct these landfills? Is it the county government? Is it NEMA? Is it the PROs?
So first of all, we need now to even start doing capacity building for even our own people, the citizens. We need to tell them, don't dump your used clothes in the bin where you're throwing your food stuff and everything. So what you do is now, when you set up the collection points in the different estates, so you can throw your clothes there. Then now the PROs, which is now we have one. I'm sure Kenya Association of Manufacturers is setting up one as well. As we speak, I know that. KEPSA is also setting up one. So those now will be responsible for collection of those clothes and now purposing them for other use, either recycling or upcycling them or downcycling them. So it's now the PROs that will be responsible for handling those used textiles. Yeah.
Very well. Before we come to the end of this conversation, I want to hear from you, Gitau. Where do you see the importation of second-hand clothes, going in the next 10 years? What trends are going to shape this industry?
Well, right now, in the next 10 years, we have a very different generation of Gen Zs who take fashion in a very different way. So there is going to be a drastic change in terms of fashion and lifestyle because of the different generation. Now, there's a lot of imports coming from China. China now is bringing almost 65% of textiles into Kenya. And that is more driven because of the ultra-fast fashion that the Gen Zs they are wearing. These are people who will buy a dress for going out one night, they wear it for 2 days, then they don't want to wear it again. So that is the kind of trend that we're looking at. So for us in second-hand clothes, we are driven by customer needs. That's why we'll always revisit our wish list. There's a wish list that we usually have to work with the sorting centers. So that is the list that you have to keep on updating because of the needs of your consumers and the customers that you're serving. So it's going to change. There is also appreciation of reuse by the younger generation. They're more into reuse and recycling. But as well also, there is more appreciation of local production of locally produced clothes in Kenya by the younger generation. Yeah.
We have also seen the proliferation of shops, and especially in downtown Nairobi, downtown Kisumu, Mombasa, shops that are selling fake designer products, be they shoes, be they clothes, be they bags. Are they posing any danger to your business?
Yes, they are, because they're giving people cheaper options. But now that is beyond us. That falls now under the curfew of Kenya Bureau of Standards. Now they're the ones who needs to come down on that and say that these are fake things, they should not be coming into Kenya. So there's nothing much we can do other than just call on the relevant authority to act on such things and prevent that illegal trade to continue.
Very well. Gitau, for how long will you continue wearing mutush?
As long as I'm here.
As long as you're walking?
Yes, as long as I'm walking.
Very good. Anything else we need to hear from you?
No, I think let's appreciate Mitumba. It's a business. It has employed our aunties, your sisters, our brothers. It has fed families for years, and it's an economy that is going to thrive. And what we are calling upon government is let's embrace the sorting hubs in Kenya. Let's bring sorting hubs in Kenya. It's going to create more economy. It's going to bring in foreign exchange. So let's embrace sorting centers. Yeah.
Very good. Martin Gitau is the CEO of Mitumba Consortium Association of Kenya, joining us on Base Check to help us understand the trends that are going to define the business of second-hand clothes here in Kenya and Africa. And according to him, we need to move fast to establish Kenya as the headquarters of sorting business here in Africa. I don't know what we are waiting for. This is something the government should grab and dash. Well, by the time coming to 11:54, we are coming to the end of this check for this morning. Thank you very much for your time. Halid is coming up next with Kurunzi. Until then, have a good afternoon.
with Fofana. Seri collects. Tries to get the ball in. There's a chance for a shot. A great goal. Sumptuous shot. Great goal. Ouedraogo. And the Côte d'Ivoire celebrates an opening goal right at the end of the first half. Bit of a scramble, but how about that for a fabulous finish for the Côte d'Ivoire. Safi Ouedraogo. And goal number 2 for her here at this WAFCON. There's Seri, she fires the ball over. Oh, no problem with offside, there's a bounce there, and look at that for the volley. Off Diane, then she just turns, shoots, and hits a beauty that flies past Nusra Abbas. She can do nothing. An opportunist strike with that fine left foot of hers.
Pata makao na boma yangu.
Ramo Lepe. Off goes Catalana again, and Catalana spotting the goalkeeper off her line, tries her luck, just past the post for Tembi Catalana. They're very quick thinking from the South Africa forward. Excellent peripheral vision from South Africa's goal scorer. Well onside, as you can see. Dabilgu, well, where was she? She didn't get the contact she would have wanted. Catalana, I think she would have wanted to lift that over the goalkeeper.
It was a really great team effort. I think in the history of South African football, this team always comes back to perform, and we knew how much it was important for us to first get this victory, and then we'll see everything that comes from it.
And your player of the match, what does it mean? I know you are a team player, but what does it mean to get this individual accolade?
For me, it's a boost. Personally, I started slow with the tournament as the 3rd game, and I think I'm getting my momentum. And thanks to my teammates, I don't think I would be here today if it wasn't for them, for their encouragement, all the challenges and difficulties we face every day in training. And this belongs to them more than it belongs to me.
Sadakta kabisa mpenzi mtazamaji, ni Alhamisi ya tarehe 6 mwezi Agosti mwaka wa 2026. Wakati mwingine mwafaka tunakongamana hapa ni kufahamishe baadhi ya taarifa ambazo tunazidi kukuandalia kwenye chumba chetu cha habari. Natumai adhuhuri yako inakuendea bomba. Kumbuka mtazamaji, unaweza fuatilia taarifa hizi moja kwa moja kwenye mtandao wetu wa kijamii, ukurasa wa Facebook, kule mtandao wa X @KBC channel, na kwenye tovuti yetu ya www.kbc.co.ke. Nafahamika kama Khalid Abdullahi, naomba tuandamane hadi tamati. Serikali imeimarisha juhudi za kuboresha taaluma ya kushughulikia maslahi ya wafanyikazi kwa kuwataka maafisa wanaohudumu katika nafasi hizo katika utumishi wa umma kupata vyeti vya kitaaluma. Zaidi ya watahiniwa 2,000 wanafanya mtihani ya utaalamu wa kushughulikia maslahi ya wafanyikazi wiki hii katika vituo zaidi ya 20 kote nchini, huku mahitaji ya vyeti yakiendelea kuongezeka. Afisa mkuu mtendaji wa bodi ya mitihani wa wataalamu wa usimamizi wa maslahi ya wafanyikazi Margaret Ngu amesema hatua hiyo inalenga kuimarisha uwezo, kuboresha ufanisi na kuimarisha taaluma hiyo katika maeneo ya kazi. Alisema uidhinishaji wa kitaaluma si wa hiari tena kwa maafisa wa umma wanaohudumu katika majukumu ya kushughulikia maslahi ya wafanyikazi, kufuatia agizo la serikali linalowataka wataalamu wote kushughulikia maslahi ya wafanyikazi katika utumishi wa umma kuidhinishwa.
And so this is a clarion call to those who are not certified to come forward and get certified. For those HR professionals who have more than 15 years experience, they can apply, come to us. They give us a portfolio of evidence to prove that they are competent, so that we assess their competence through the recognition of prior learning. And so far, we have assessed more than 20 professionals, and therefore again, RPL is gaining a lot of traction.
All HR professionals, let's own this profession. We are HR, let's own it, let's run it, let's make sure that we are in control of our profession.
Na mahakama kuu ya Kilifi imetoa vibali vya kukamatwa kwa washukiwa wawili wa ulaghai kwenye mzozo wa ardhi unaohusisha mali ya zaidi ya shilingi milioni 75. Mahakama ilitoa uamuzi huo baada ya washukiwa kukosa kufika mahakamani kujibu mashtaka kwenye kesi hiyo iliyochukua muda wa miaka 6 kufikia sasa. Joseph Ngugi Mutura, Mary Nyambura Mwangi na Michael Njuguna Kago wanatuhumiwa na madai ya kumlaghai mwalimu Mwanyale Zia kipande cha ardhi katika eneo la Ngala, kaunti ya Kilifi kati ya mwaka 2017 na mwaka 2022. Wakati wa kusikizwa kwa kesi hiyo, Michael Njuguna Kago pekee aliyefika mahakamani. Jaji Charles Obulutsa alipuuzilia mbali sababu za wahusika kutofika mahakamani, huku pia akikatalia mbali ombi la Kago la kuachiliwa kwa dhamana.
Today, one suspect, now an accused, has turned up. There has been an explanation about the whereabouts of the others. Even though the details given are scanty, when they were supposed to have come to court on 27th of July, the accused persons were not available. Summons were then issued. Now, in respect of the remaining accused persons, they had indicated that they want to appear in court on 19th. Let the DCI bring them.
Mtazamaji, maelfu ya Wakenya wanaoishi katika mitaa ya mabanda wanatarajiwa kunufaika na matibabu bila malipo baada ya ubalozi wa Israel nchini kutoa msaada wa dawa na vifaa vya matibabu ya thamani ya zaidi ya shilingi milioni 1 kwa kanisa la Faith Evangelist ambalo litaandaa hafla za matibabu bila malipo. Akiongea siku ya Jumatano wakati wa kutoa msaada huo, balozi wa Israel nchini Kenya Gideon Behar alisema msaada huo ni dhihirisho la uhusiano wa karibu ulioko kati ya Israel na Kenya katika kuimarisha huduma za matibabu. Wakati huo mkuu wa idara ya matibabu ya kanisa hilo la Faith Evangelist Daktari Edith Mburu amesema msaada huo unaojumuisha dawa, vifaa vya matibabu, kemikali za mahabara pamoja na miwani ya kusoma ulitolewa wakati wa hafla ijayo ya kanisa hilo ya utoaji wa matibabu bila malipo huko Githurai 45, kaunti ya Kiambu.
Today we are delivering a donation of medical equipment that will help people in Kenya improve their health and improve their lives. We are very happy that we can be part of it, that the Embassy of Israel can donate and be part of it.
Supplies that are in these boxes, there are medicines, surgicals, and also the reagents for the laboratory. For the patients who have eye problem, we do give them free reading glasses.
Na tume ya kuajiri walimu nchini TSC imekanusha madai ya chama cha walimu cha KUPPET kwamba imeshindwa kuzingatia maslahi ya walimu ikiwemo kupandishwa vyeo. Tume hiyo hata hivyo ilisema imejitolea kuwapandisha vyeo walimu, lakini kwa sasa inakumbwa na uhaba wa kifedha. Kaimu afisa mkuu wa tume hiyo Evelyn Mitei alisema fedha za kutosha pamoja na utaratibu mwafaka lazima uzingatiwe wakati wa kupandishwa vyeo kwa walimu. Aliongezea kwamba mwaka huu tume hiyo inapania kuwapandisha vyeo walimu 34,016 baada ya serikali kutenga shilingi bilioni 2 kwa shughuli hiyo.
Promotion of teachers is an issue that the Commission handles year in, year out. Promotions happen based on availability of funding. So the delay is not because the Commission is delaying with the exercise, but sometimes the funds are not available. For the 2 billion we were given, we are promoting 34,016 teachers. So I want to assure our teachers that the Commission is committed in promoting them, but we will promote them within the provisions of the career progression guidelines.
Tukiachana mtazamaji, watu wawili walifariki kufuatia ajali iliyohusisha pikipiki iliyokuwa imebeba abiria na gari moja aina ya Vanguard kwenye barabara kati ya Bomet na Kapalong, kaunti ya Bomet. Danton anatusimulia zaidi.
Kulingana na naibu wa kamanda wa polisi huko Bomet Moses Nampaio, mwanabodaboda mwenye umri wa miaka 29 pamoja na abiria wake wa kike wenye umri wa miaka 68 walifariki papo hapo.
Ajali kutokea ni kwamba ile pikipiki ilikuwa inataka kugeuka kurudi pande ya Bomet, hivi kwamba dereva wa gari ile la Vanguard alijaribu kuhepa kumgonga yule mwendeshaji wa pikipiki na abiria wake, lakini kwa bahati mbaya waliweza kugongana.
Kwingineko, serikali ya kaunti ya Mandera imekariri kuwa imejitolea kuwahimiza kina mama kuwanyonyesha watoto wao wachanga katika njia mwafaka ya kuhakikisha afya bora kwa mama na mtoto. Hayo yalijiri wakati taifa lilipojiunga na jamii ya kimataifa kuadhimisha juma la kuwanyonyesha watoto duniani.
Maziwa ya mama inampa mtoto kinga ambaye inamzuia mtoto yetu kupata magonjwa, inampa mtoto nguvu zaidi. Mtoto ambaye anapewa matiti kwa miezi 6 bila kupewa chakula kingine chochote, anakuwa na afya na anakuwa tofauti na mtoto mwingine.
Wakati huo huo, serikali itapeleka kitengo maalum kukabili wizi wa maji na uharibifu wa mabomba ya mradi wa maji wa Noltresh. Katika kaunti ya Kwale, wakazi wamehimizwa kutekeleza wajibu muhimu katika kuwatambua na kuchagua miradi ya maendeleo mashinani inayofadhiliwa na Benki ya Duniani.
Ya kwamba tutaandika memorandum ya joint memorandum tukishirikisha wanajamii na mashirika mengine kuona ya kwamba tutaipeleka katika serikali yetu ya gatuzi kwa ofisi husika ili waweze nao kuchukua hayo mapendekezo.
Na kaunti ya Kirinyaga imeibuka kuwa mfano muhimu wa biashara ya ufugaji wa samaki, huku zaidi ya wakulima 1600 wakishiriki ufugaji wa samaki.
And indeed, as testified by the farmers here in Kirinyaga, ABDB has a very positive impact, and we have increased fish production per farmer per year.
Kwingineko, kawi inayotokana na miale ya jua imetajwa kuwa tegemeo kubwa katika siku za usoni, huku wataalamu wakionya kuwa ukataji wa miti na mabadiliko ya hali ya anga ni tisho kwa uwezo wa taifa hili kuzalisha umeme kupitia mabwawa.
If we depend on the outside supply and the grids, it will be a problem, because in any case of power blackout, there are a lot of issues, but if you have this solar panel like this, you will be assured of 100% supply of energy.
Hatimaye, wakazi wa kaunti ndogo ya Mbeere huko Embu wametoa makataa ya siku 7 kwa kampuni ya maji ya Embu kurejesha huduma za kawaida za maji kufuatia miezi kadhaa ya kusambaza maji kwa vipimo.
EWASCO has been in blatant contravention of the constitution, and we want to issue a 7 days ultimatum that they need to, one, because we have areas in Mbeere South where we never get water.
Na mtazamaji, taarifa hiyo ndio inatukamilishia kurunzi mashinani ya dhuhuri ya leo, lakini na kusiusiende mbali na rejea na kipindi cha Tamrini ambapo tutakuwa na mahojiano ya moja kwa moja hapa studioni. Usibanduke.
Get ready for a captivating continental football extravaganza. KBC Channel 1 brings you exclusive coverage of the 2026 Women's Africa Cup of Nations, WAFCON. From Sunday the 26th of July to Sunday the 16th of August 2026, welcome to Morocco! Morocco is the battleground as Nigeria defend their title against 15 other nations fighting to lift the prestigious trophy. Who will be crowned Queens of African Football? Courtesy of the Ministry of Youth Affairs, Creative Economy and Sports. Watch all the action unraveling on KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner. The wait is over. KBC Eco Huduma Center, starting with Nairobi. KBC imekuwa rahisi. From digital guidance and signet services to booking of commercial adverts and documentaries, visit our dedicated desks at Huduma Center GPO, Times Square, Makadara, Kibera, or Eastleigh. Tunakungoja hapo. Whether it's a casual announcement or a specialized media solution for your business, we are here to serve you. KBC at Huduma Centers, moving closer to you. Your station, your service.
Kuntu kabisa mtazamaji, mdundo hiyo ni ishara tosha kwamba kurunzi mashinani na tunaelekea kwa awamu ya pili ya kipindi cha Tamrini ambapo tutakuwa na mazungumzo ya moja kwa moja hapa kwenye studio zetu. Siku hii ya leo tukilizungumzia tu swala nzima ya afya ya akili miongoni mwa wanaume. Mtazamaji, afya ya akili imeendelea kuwa moja ya masuala muhimu yanayopewa kipaumbele duniani kutokana na athari zake kwa mtu binafsi, familia, jamii kwa ujumla. Licha ya jitihada mbalimbali za kuongeza kuelewa, bado unyanyapaa na dhana potofu kuhusu afya ya akili vinaendelea kuwazuia wengi kutafuta msaada kwa wakati. Katika mahojiano yetu ya leo tunazungumza na mwandishi wa kitabu kinachojadili kwa kina swala la afya ya akili, kikitoa mwanga kuhusu changamoto zinazowakabili waathirika, umuhimu wa utambuzi wa mapema pamoja na nafasi ya jamii katika kuwasaidia wanaopitia changamoto hizo. Mtazamaji, kwa nini nitumie mate ilhali wino upo? Niko nayo mgeni wangu James Nyabera ambaye ni mgeni wangu aliyeathirika pia na swala nzima la afya akili, na pia ni mwandishi wa kitabu ambacho tutakuwa tunadadavua kwa kina hapo awali, kitabu cha A Man Must Cry. Kwa nini amelitumia jina hilo katika kitabu chake? Karibu sana Bwana James kwenye studio zetu.
Asante sana ndugu.
Naam. Kwanza kabisa nataka tu unisimulie tu jinsi swala nzima la afya ya akili na changamoto zake zilikupata wewe kama James Nyabera?
Asante sana kwa kunialika katika kipindi hiki. Jina langu ni James Nyabera. Mimi ni mwanzilishi wa A Man Must Cry Mental Health Movement. Tena mtetezi wa afya ya akili ya wanaume, kutumia uzoefu wangu wa maisha, kwa lugha ya kimombo tunasema lived experience, kuhamasisha jamii umuhimu wa wanaume kuzungumuza, kupata msaada na hata kupona bila aibu wala unyanyapaa. So my inspiration inatokea from my lived experience na afya akili, changamoto ya afya akili, because I grew up in a family whereby silence was the language of suffering. This was after witnessing my father, my late dad, struggle with depression after kupoteza kazi yake. So from there, as a young man, I didn't truly know what was happening, because way back, mental health conversation wasn't things we normalized talking about as a family, as a community, especially.
Kama jamii nzima.
Kama jamii nzima. And especially wanaume. So behind the closed door, I was also struggling silently until 2017, kama nilikuwa college. Ndio one of my friend ali noticed like James is not that active and bubbly boy that we are used to. Ndio wakani approach kama naweza zungumuza nipate msaada ama nijue tu like just a language Kenya napitia. So from there ndo wakani link up to one of the psychologists within the college. Hapo ndo nikapata usaidizi, nikapata jina Kenya ilikuwa inanisumbua, and that's when I was diagnosed with childhood trauma and I found depression. So from there pia nilielezewa jinsi ya nao kutunza afya yangu ya akili. Na first support nilipata ilitokea from church. So within the church spaces as well, nikaanza kutumia story yangu to help others. So when nilikuwa natumia story yangu pia nilinotice watu wengi wanapitia. So that's realization ilifanya sasa nianze hii campaign ya A Man Must Cry to break that silence among men's mental health, so that because lengo langu kubwa ilikuwa kuunda mazingira salama ambapo wanaume wanaweza jitokeza na kuzungumuza wanapopitia changamoto ya afya akili na kupata msaada bila kuhukumiwa.
Naam. Na bila unyanyapaa. Naam, katika simulizi yako ulisema kwamba rafiki yako ametambua kwamba James hayuko kama James wa zamani ambayo tulikuwa tunamfahamu. Je, umeona ni dalili gani ulianza kuziona zikakufanya kuwa unapata afya ya akili?
Ya kwangu nilikuwa nalala sana kwa class, alafu pia I used to withdraw a lot from the activity nilikuwa nimependa. Kwa nilikuwa nimependa kucheza mpira, kuconnect na watu, but I used just to enjoy my space. Basi kujua like ilikuwa pia niumiza, cause mja binadamu tumeumbwa kuwa we need to socialize, we are social human being. So kuwa venye nilikuwa na sasa waka identify those signs, ndo wakaanza kusema this is not the James that tunajua.
Na watu wengi kama ulivyosema, wanaume sana sana wanaogopa kuzungumza. Wewe uliwahi kuhofia kuzungumza baada ya rafiki yako kutambua kwamba James hayuko sawa, hayuko kama zamani?
Yes, I used to fear speaking about my emotional pain or Kenya nilikuwa napitia. But huyo rafiki yangu kwa identify hiyo kitu, I think ilinipa ile motisha, that courage na I need to speak it out, nipate usaidizi, because at the end of the day mimi ndo nilikuwa naumia, si hata hao. So ndo nikasema niende tu nizungumze, nitoke, nipate usaidizi.
Kwa kweli ni jambo zito kama ni wakati wa kwanza ambayo unaona swala hili linakukumba. Je, Ulichukua aje wakati wa kwanza pale ambapo rafiki yako amesema kwamba ama umefahamu kwamba hii si misongo ya mawazo, hii ni kitu ambayo inaathiri afya ya akili? Umelichukua vipi mara ya kwanza?
Nilikuwa na hisia but I was so positive about it. Ndio nikasema let me just smoke it out, because indeed nilikuwa nataka hizo usaidizi na huyo kukuja, because sometimes what you need someone who can just identify something, listen and akusaidie kupata hizo msaada zenye unataka unapopitia changamoto za afya ya akili. So I was so positive about it and brave enough to approach those kind of support. Mimi nisaidia sana.
Naam, nini kilikupa nguvu zaidi ya kuendelea na bado kujituma ndio swala hili sikuathiri sana, swala la depression, mental illness isikuwa inakumaliza? Nini imekupatia nguvu sana?
Naweza sema uzoefu wa maisha ama my lived experience, because the more I'm talking about my emotional pain or my struggle with mental health, the more I'm connecting with others who also have stories but walikuwa na nyamazia cause walikuwa na ile fear like nitazungumuza aje. And with all this stigma around mental health, so the more they see me being brave enough, sharing my stories on these various platforms, and they find even hope for them also to come out and talk about the emotional pain. And through that, I've connected with many people wenye hata walikuwa nasema hawawezi kuzungumuza wanapopitia changamoto za afya za akili, but au kuniona like niko on the spotlight na izungumuzia, imewapea ile motisha na pia ni motivate to keep on promoting this mental health advocacy.
Ni swala nzuri ambalo umelifanya hapo. Kuna swala la familia na marafiki, walikupokeaje wakati ambapo wameona kwamba unazungumzia, umejitokeza, unafanya wanaharakati kuhusiana na swala nzima la afya akili? Walikupokea vipi familia, marafiki na wale watu karibu yako?
Naweza sema ilikuwa 50-50 because wenye walikuwa understand the profound impact ama benefit of speaking up when you're going through something, walikuwa nani encourage to keep on with that. But kuna wenye walikuwa wasema mwanaume ni ule mtu unafaa uvumilie, mwanaume ufai huli unapopitia changamoto za maisha. Kwa sababu tunasemanga mwanaume sisi ni binadamu, tunaumia, tunachoka na pia tunapitia changamoto mingi za maisha, so inafaa pia tusikizwe tunapoongea ama zungumzia changamoto zetu za maisha.
Unahisi kwa nini, unadhani bado kuna unyanyapaa mkubwa katika jamii kuhusiana na magonjwa ya akili katika jamii? Swala la discrimination imeonekana miongoni mwa watu, kwa sababu hiyo ndio inafanya wanaume hasa wasijitokeze na waongee na waseme kitu ambayo inawaathiri. Kwa nini unahisi ama unadhani bado kuna unyanyapaa mkubwa kuhusiana na magonjwa haya ya afya ya akili?
Hiyo swali nzuri sana. The first barrier nizasema ni stigma around men's mental health, na hizi vitu kama cultural expectation, because growing up unasikia mwanaume ni ule mtu akue gangari, asilie, asionyeshe feelings zake. But at the end of the day mwanaume ni binadamu. So those kind of barriers zime enhance hizo stigmas around men's mental health. Tukuna vitu kama the biggest gap in mental health education. Kuzeza pata kuna watu wanapitia hizi changamoto za afya za akili, but they don't have a language or exact word kenye wanapitia. So unapata ni ngumu sana au kupata hizo msaada, cause nikisema like we empower these men na wakuna hiyo the basic knowledge about mental health. Wanaweza jua leo napitia stress because nimekuwa na kazi mingi kwa ofisi, and this how I need to smoke it out by just talking to a friend, talking to my boss, ama talking to a therapist. And vitu kama even lack of role models within the community, because role models want to play a very crucial role in terms of just even encouraging these people who are struggling with emotional pain to speak up and get those necessary help.
Na sasa tulegeze kamba tuelekee ni kuulize tu, uliandika kitabu ambayo inafahamika kama A Man Must Cry. Kitabu kinachozungumzia afya akili. Ni nini imekusukuma kuandika kitabu hichi?
Alright, asante sana. So hii kitabu first is a bold call to break that silence around men's mental health, because pia mimi kuwa like I'm a lived experience, so nilikuwa sema I need to come up with a campaign whereby I don't give men permission to ignore their pain. That's why nikasema man must cry, because ningesema man should cry, ningepea men permission to ignore their pain. So nikasema I need to have an immortal version of James. So ndio nikaanza ku journal all my experiences na mental health and some societal reflection and part guide how to address and challenge these harmful stereotypes around masculinity, or then equate masculinity with emotional silence, so that we can champion, promote and advocate for men's mental health. So A Man Must Cry, because I was looking for something that is so eye-catching, that can attract attention and just spark conversation around it. Nikasema, let me use these 4 words, A Man Must Cry, because someone will be like, why a man must cry? And from there now we start a conversation around it. So it was the motivation, so to unleash my lived experience part and some societal reflection. Kenye nimegrow like mwanaume, you don't need to cry, you need to be man enough, you need to man up, you don't need to show your feeling. So those kind of societal reflection, because tumeziona kama zina cost, they have costed many men their life, even within our family, within our friendship, even within the community. Because we have data outside there zina speak about this thing. So that's what the motivation, just to continue championing for good mental health among men.
Na kama ulivyosema, mara nyingi wanaume hufundishwa kuficha hisia zao, na kauli yako ya A Man Must Cry ina maana gani ukilenga kubadili mtazamo upi katika jamii?
Wow. A Man Must Cry, cause lengo yangu muhimu ni kuunda mazingira salama ambapo hawa wanaume they can feel so much secure and vulnerable to wajitokeze tu wazungumuze na wapate msaada na even kupona wanapopitia changamoto za afya za akili bila aibu ama wala unyanyapaa. So that was the main goal, because first we need to have those safe spaces yenye I can feel ndugu yangu Khalid is my safe space. Naweza approach you, then I talk about my pain, then from there unaweza nisaidia where to get help, because naweza kuwa nataka tu like 200 to sort out my family, then you like mwanaume, that pride or that ego, like I don't need to talk it out because sijui ya leader atanichukuliaje, you get. But if you are so vulnerable and you understand you're my safe space, nitakuwa na ile urahisi la kukupigia hata simu like, hey, ndugu Hali, nataka even 200 to sort out this.
Familia na marafiki huwa wana nafasi gani katika kusuluhisha masuala kama haya ama kumsaidia mtu ambaye anapitia changamoto za magonjwa haya ya afya akili? Kwa sababu kama ulivyosema, safe space is very important.
Very. Yeah, so I'll say families and friendship, they're the first line of support system. Because nasemanga mental health conversation hazianzi kwa hospitali, they start from the community. Communities zinaanza ya kwa household. So family need to be so sensitive and work with this kind of basic mental health literacy or psychological first aid knowledge. Yenye wanaweza jua, this is my son, this is my nephew. Akikuwa sawa, these are the behaviors, right? But today the behavior are a bit awkward. So they need also to create that safe space and just say like, even just to ask, intentionally ask, like, are you really okay? So from there, conversation will start. So from there now they can gauge it like the intensity of your pain. Ndio sasa wanaweza kama it is so severe, now they can refer it to a professional for further guidance and support. So family and friendship remain to be integral and central part of our recovery or support system. Because hapo ndo mental health conversation inaanzia before tufike hata kwa hospitali.
Naam. Nataka nikuregeshe nyuma kidogo, tuanzie palipo tulivyoanzia. Kuna watu wengi hawatofautishi kati ya msongo wa mawazo na magonjwa ya afya ya akili. Ungemsaidiaje mtu ambaye anatazama sasa hivi? Kwa sababu wengi wanafikiria ukiwa na msongo wa mawazo ama stress ukipenda, anafikiri mtu uko depressed.
Alright, that's a good question because nasemanga we have two types of stress. Tuko na eustress and distress, right? So eustress ni ile stress yenye, let me say you have an interview tomorrow. So you'll be stressed because you need to prepare. Utakuwa na hizo manzati, you need to prepare, you need to search about the organization, right? So that you get it right. But kuna threshold yenye hiyo eustress ikipita, now inakuwa distress, whereby now you need to start looking for this professional kind of support. So what do people just need to know the difference, not to pathologize everything, because naweza kuwa na stress saizi because I'm grieving that I've lost my phone. So I don't need to say like I have a mental condition, right? Yes. It's just like I'm grieving because I've just lost my pet on my phone. But if that grief lasts for, I say 14 days, kuna threshold, then now it is a distress. Now you need to seek for this kind of professional support. Yeah, so they need to know that. But for mental health condition, this will need to be pathologized or to be diagnosed with the satisfied professional within the institute after going through some thorough assessment. Yeah.
Naam, tuko katika msimu wa teknolojia, msimu wa mitandao. Mtandao wa kijamii imekuwa sehemu kubwa sana ya maisha yetu kila siku. Je, inaathiri vipi swala nzima la afya ya akili?
Okay, swali nzuri sana. I'll say because we live in a current world whereby technology is taking everything. And as I said, sometimes it's play a good role in terms of creating advocacy, people just to know what is right to do when they're struggling with their mental health. As well, it's also like promote mental health distress, because things like peer pressure, because I can see my friend is truly doing well in life, right? And I'm not doing well. So I'll start to try to compete with that kind of, not knowing anatumia mbinu gani ndio afike hapo. So see, like I'll be so stressed, and also I'll start to involve in some risky behavior, even for me just to achieve that. And that one will stress you. So I'll say it has a 50-50 way of benefiting when it's come to, let me say, you are struggling with something and you can get access knowledge easily, but as well, it can enhance the mental health distress when not used appropriately.
Na kuna wengi ambao wanaweza jiuliza kwamba msongo wa mawazo ama stress ikizidi inaweza kubadilika iwe magonjwa ya afya akili.
Yes, stress, because we have the prolonged stress ikizidi, it will now lead to depression. And depression is a mental health condition. It affects how you feel, you act, you think, and even how you cope up with your daily life. Yeah, so that prolonged stress, it need to be prolonged, ndo ikuwe depression.
Na turegee kwa kitabu ambacho ulikandika, kitabu hicho cha A Man Must Cry. Wakati wa kuandika kitabu hiki, ni simulizi gani ambapo ulikuwa umeiagusa sana, ambayo ilikuwa inaleta hisia yako katika kitabu hicho?
Wow, because A Man Must Cry is a continuation of my first book titled Tales of a Firstborn. Yeah, so I was trying to
Choice
narrate.
of a firstborn.
Yeah, navigating the lead role. So I was trying to connect with my younger self, the younger James, just to bring in the clear picture. Because nasemanga, I can't tell the new version of James when I don't know the younger version of James alikuwaje. Because I need to resolve those kind of childhood traumas that nilipitia so that the younger James, now the new James now akwe mtu mwenye ako so ill, so that I can also stand out and help others. So it talks about my personal experience, just growing up, and also witnessing my dad also go through some spiral of, those depression, and also like the upbringing that nilikuwa nayo, you get, and also like where also like the turning point ilitokea, and also the societal reflection, things that I've just grown witnessing among community, even friends, and some of my research, because I have a background in research by training. Yeah, so I was just combining those three to package it so well, so someone just get it from a point of, yes, I've witnessed this, and yes, research says this based on the statistic that we have, and these are the part guides, the practical tips zenye zinasaidia mtu mwenye anapitia changamoto za afya za akili, so that even when James is not alive, but I have a immortal version of me that can continue my advocacy work.
Na katika maelezo yako uligusia swala la upbringing ama jinsi tumelelewa ama watu wanalelewa. Je, unahisi wazazi wanawezaje kuwalea watoto wao hasa wavulana ili wajitokeze, wasiwe na watu wenye aibu, wasiwe watu wenye kuogopa kujieleza? Unahisi tunafaa kuleta swala nzima la venye ulisema upbringing iwe tofauti?
Yes, cause I do say our parents, they're the first line of support system. So they also need to have good upbringing, especially when it's come to emotional intelligence. How do I need to raise my son? Because we have some parents, when those who still have the colonized mind, when their son or their nephew start to show some kind of emotion, utaona kama wanaambia like, kama mwanaume afaya complain sana. Not knowing pia mwanaume ni binadamu tu ako na mashida. So they need to be empowered, because sometimes I do say our people perish because they lack knowledge, but if at all we have that knowledge, we can help our people. So parents need to be empowered with the right tools or the knowledge, so that even itakuwa rahisi when they are now raising their sons, so that they give them the right and proper skills, so that pia wanaweza kuwa people who are so responsible for their emotional pain, because nasemanga no one is immune to trials, because life do happens. We have also the internal factor. So when they present, how do I navigate around it? So if we don't get this kind of empowerment from our parents, then there's a big gap, because now this person, itachukua time even for society to show up to help this particular person. So it needs to start from our parents to give us the right foundation in terms of empowerment before to be released to the society, so that we can also like multiply or replicate the same, also to help others who might be navigating through the same challenges.
Naam, James, niruhusu nikuulize hii swali. Je, kuna wakati katika maisha yako uliwahi kuhisi kukata tamaa wakati ambapo ulikuwa unapitia changamoto hizi za magonjwa ya afya ya akili? Na kama si hivyo ama kama ipo wakati, je, unahisi uliweza kuishinda aje wakati huo?
All right. Okay, I'll talk about my experience in the year 2017. Before I received this kind of mental health support, or just getting to know the pain I was carrying, right? I'll say nishawahi kata tamaa, because totally I was so hopeless. I didn't even see the reason why I need to live anymore. But I was just trying to connect with my younger self and just getting this kind of friends who are truly friends and they're so genuine, right? Who are there for me, like wananipea motisha, like, James, things will get better, things will get better, things will get better. I mean, just keep on holding on, right? So ilinipea motisha. So if I think about kukata tamaa, I'm like, but I have this kind of friend who keep on motivating me, because I think they were seeing something in me yenye sikuwa naiona, unaona, because this kind of greatness someone can see in you but huwezi jiona,
wewe huioni.
So from there I was like, if these people are seeing something in me that is so great, and I'm like, I don't need to give up, I just need to soldier on despite of adversity, because also through that is when we are building also our resilient power to help us navigate those kind of adversity.
Na swala la ugonjwa wa afya ya akili imeonekana kukithiri sana miongoni mwa wanaume sasa hivi na watu wengi. Je, unahisi serikali, waajiri ama taasisi za elimu zina wajibu gani wa kufanya ama wajibu gani katika kuboresha huduma za afya ya kiakili? Wewe kama mwanaharakati, wewe kama mtu ambaye amekuwa na hiyo uzoefu wa maisha kuhusiana na swala hili la magonjwa afya ya kiakili.
Okay, that's a good question, because even within my advocacy space, one of the key things I'm trying to promote is investment in mental health services, and also just integration of these mental health services into primary health care, so that within the community we have this kind of satisfied mental health professional who can reach the household. When, let me say, someone is going through a mental health condition, they can access these services easily, as opposed to going to urban places. So first, the government, in collaboration with ministry, they're truly doing a very good job in trying to integrate this mental health services into primary health care. And but we still have a big gap when it comes to investment, because tunajua globally mental health remain to be poorly funded, and when something is poorly funded, we can't achieve our target. So it is high time they need to invest in just empowering also teachers with this kind of psychological first aid, or this mental health basic skill, so that even within the school spaces, they also have just like a session for emotional intelligence, so that these pupil or these students are also like empowered with the right tools to manage their stress, and where to get this kind of support system where, let me say, someone is struggling, and also to identify a champion within or among the student who can be now the actor. Just to notice, like, hey, my friend is not feeling today, or my friend is absent, I need to follow up what is really happening. So from there, now they pick a conversation and move forward with it to get this kind of support. So it remains to be a collective responsibility, and inafaa tukuje pamoja as government, as a mental health practitioner, the community leaders, the youth leaders, and even this advocate, even the faith leaders, so that we push this conversation moving forward. And the target is penya watu, where people do meet, and hizi ni churches, schools, venye umesema, and also this kind of creative hubs where just people connect. Yeah.
Na kuna wengi ambao wanaamini kwamba maombi tu pekee ndio kinatosha kumaliza swala hili ya magonjwa ya akili. Unazungumziaje swala la kuunganisha imani na huduma za kitaaluma kuhusiana na masuala ya magonjwa ya afya ya kiakili?
Wow, I'll say that's a very good question, because it is something I was sharing with my friend, I think, for the past 2 days about faith and professional. Because nasembanga, okay, it is good. We need, as human beings, we need to subscribe to a superior power, right? But that is not enough. We also need to connect with human beings. So we need to have that kind of integration whereby, yes, I'm praying. Yes, I'm going through this kind of stress. Yes, I'm praying. And also I need also to see a therapist. because maybe God has positioned to be a therapist so that you can identify the problem. Yes, I've prayed and He has sent me to see you, right? So we need to have that kind of a co-production whereby we have faith and expert, because faith alone we can't achieve, because yes, it's good to have that humanity, but also I need to talk to someone. I need to share my problem with my fellow human beings so that tunaweza tatua kimoja.
Na tumebakisha tu, mwelekezi wangu anasema tumebakisha dakika 5 tu, lakini kabla hatujakunja jamvi, ikiwa kuna mtazamaji anayetuangalia sasa hivi ama anayetutazama na anapitia changamoto za afya ya kiakili, ungemwambia nini wewe kama James Nyabera?
Wow, asante sana. I'll say first, you need to accept kenye unapitia, because if you don't accept, like, I'm truly going through pain, there's no way you can get those kind of support. So first you need to accept the way you are feeling, and look for safe spaces whereby you can smoke it out. And that just by identifying whom do you truly trust with your pain, within your family, within your friendship, or within the community, right? So from there, share it, and you'll always get necessary support when you are in pain. So, because bottling up those kind of emotions doesn't help, because the bravest thing someone can do is just to get it out of the chest at the end of the day, so that you can get that support that you need.
Kabla sijakuuliza swali la mwisho, kitabu chako kinapatikana wapi? Na pia ungemshauri mtu gani ama mtu yote akisome?
Okay, well, kitabu yangu iko Nuria Bookstore, Bazaar House along Moi Avenue. And this is a powerful piece that inaweza encourage every person to have a copy and just read through it, because it is something that I've lived it, and I've transformed that pain and gave it a meaningful purpose. So it is something that will truly help even you as a father, as a son, as a brother, as an uncle, as a nephew, so that we can just empower ourselves with this kind of emotional intelligence tools that we need when we are struggling with mental health distress. Even our mothers, our sisters, our partners, they also need to grab this copy, because I do say they have sons, they have boyfriends, and they also live with the male figures, right? So they also need to understand men's emotional being, so that they can always offer those kind of safe spaces, understanding, not just to mock men or just to compare men with other men, because also that thing lead to a lot of stress. So they need to accept men the way they are, and offer that kind of conducive environment and understanding kind of listening ear, and not to judge men.
Na swali langu la mwisho, dakika sekunde 30, una matumaini gani kuhusu mustakabali wa mazungumzo kuhusiana na magonjwa ya afya ya kiakili hapa nchini Kenya?
Ndasema it is something that we need to normalize in our everyday conversation, because nasemanga mental health doesn't take a day off. So because each and every day kuna mtu anapitia tu kitu. So by us normalizing those kind of conversation, inawezapea mtu matumaini ya kutafuta hizo usaidizi wanapopitia hizo changamoto za afya za akili, na wapate msaada.
Shukran sana mtazamaji. Huyo ni James Nyabera, ambayo ni mwandishi wa kitabu cha A Man Must Cry, na pia aliathirika na afya ya kiakili, na pia akiwa na uzoefu mkubwa wa maisha kuhusiana na swala nzima la magonjwa ya afya ya akili. Shukran sana kwa muda wako James.
Asante sana
Mtazamaji, hapo ndio tunakunja jamvi la kipindi cha Tamrini siku hii ya leo. Caroline Njoroge amenisaidia kupeperusha kipindi hiki kwa lugha ya ishara. Hadi panapo majaliwa yake Maulana. Kwaheri.
Wajima City in Ishikawa was one of the areas hardest hit by the Noto Peninsula earthquake of January 2024. As the city recovers, it's employing some innovative construction methods. This is a temporary workshop for the traditional Wajima craft of lacquerware. Most of Wajima's 1,000 or so lacquerware artisans lost their workshops in the quake. If we are to keep the craft alive, it's essential for us artisans to be able to properly preserve our tools and materials. A special feature of this temporary workshop is its all-wooden construction. Such temporary buildings are usually made with a light steel frame. But lacquer artisans require more than protection from the weather. The material they work with must be kept at a constant temperature and humidity. Wood is ideal for this, since it better protects the interior from changes in the weather. These workshops are also as sturdy as regular wood frame houses, with an expected lifetime of about 100 years. After their role here is over, these structures can be sent to other disaster areas and reused to provide temporary housing for people who have lost their homes. Wajima is using even more innovative housing methods. You can see these tent-like structures scattered throughout the city. Called instant houses, these are temporary homes that can be erected and ready for use in just a few hours. The first step is to inflate the fabric dome. Next, it is secured to the ground with screws or pegs. Finally, for insulation and soundproofing, urethane material is sprayed onto the fabric from the inside. The design was developed by Kitagawa Keisuke, a professor of architectural science. He was inspired by talking with young children living at an evacuation center after a disaster.
なんで仮設住宅ができるまで3ヶ月から6ヶ月もかかるのと大学の先生だったら来週建ててよって言ってくれたんですね。早く作ってよと作れるんじゃないかとなんかそういった気持ちにグッとさせてくれて
Providing secure and quickly erected shelter, instant houses have attracted worldwide attention. In 2023, they were used after a major earthquake in Turkey and Syria. Kitagawa passes on his technology so that in future these houses can be manufactured and assembled entirely by local workers.
世界中どこにでもあるような素材で簡単に職人さんが作っていただけるような仕組みにしてありますので、世界中で家に困っている人がもうゼロになっていくような社会にどんどん近づけていきたいと思っています。
Lessons learned coping with disasters in Japan are helping people worldwide.
give the ball away like that, especially to Piri. Piri's got Banda. She's got Banda outside. She goes inside to Grace Chanda. The ball out to the right side. Racing up is Belemu. She's been darting up that right side. She tries to get the ball back to Chanda, but it's a little bit too overcooked. Goal kick. Breathtaking, sweeping move from the back. Started off by Piri. There's the header. Intercepted. Nicely kept at her feet. Good work from Makanda Wire. There's the delivery coming in. Watch out. That's not near a teammate, but it's there, and the header comes back in. And the attempted header, it's a chance here. The ball comes out, and Tabata is a shot coming in. It's been blocked there at the back there by Chileshi. And there's another chance, but there's a free kick before they can get their shot in.
Pata makao na boma yangu.
Nikieleza kama huyo mtosi ndiye alinifuta kasi na ndio nikakuachia kwa sababu ya hasira, nitakuwa nasema urongo.
Sasa wewe najua Mswahili ilisema hasira hasara.
Mswahili kali mlikuwa nao. How comes you are just chasing me through phone? You are testing me the text.
Sasa leo wewe kizungu kinakulemea, si uongee Kiswahili.
Mimi mwenyewe nimemfumilia.
Hiyo kali uliipata wapi?
Ndani ya barabara.
Ndani ya barabara. Ilikuwa imeng'olewa vitu ama ilikuwa haijang'olewa?
Ilikuwa imeng'olewa.
Ilikuwa imeng'olewa. Ni mimi nilingoa ama ni nani aling'oa?
Wenda aliwacha hapo.
Mimi mtu unaendesha kali vizuri, unapeleka mtu kuchukua mabarua kule, anachukua mheshimiwa. Kitoko ukiangalia simu unapata ati huo mtu amekuandikia ati I've futa you job, go home. Leave my car there. Sasa utafanya namna gani mheshimiwa? Kama ni wewe utafanya namna gani?
Yeye alikwambia uache gari lako.
Aliniambia niache gari hapo.
Hope for a draw, but draw. Oh, that's a great ball. They've split open the defence with Diogo. She tried to open up that left foot and get a decent shot. You can see what she was trying to do. And mechanically speaking, yeah, she's in a good position to do that, but time-wise, no. You've got too many players closing you down. Sometimes you really got it. It would be better on the right foot because she would have protected herself a little bit more, but with other players, with the Tanzanian defence coming down towards her, not easy. It's the wrong choice. Well, that was it. Touched too many.
It's a good afternoon to you. Welcome to the Lunchtime News with me, O'Brien Kimani. We're coming to you live from Broadcasting House. A comprehensive coverage of today's news is coming up next. Well, President William Ruto today, or this morning at State House, met more than 5,000 members of the private security guards in a historic meeting where he outlined various reforms that the government is undertaking to improve the welfare of private security guards, and some of them includes increasing their allowances as well as assigning them affordable houses. We want to go to State House now and listen in to that conversation that took place this morning.
Asanteni, asanteni, asanteni sana. Tafadhali mnaweza keti chini. Thank you very much. Ndugu wananchi, private security officers wetu, Bwana Yesu asifiwe. Hamjambo? Hamjambo? Mambo? Ati mambo? Basi mimi kwanza nataka nichukue nafasi hii ya kipekee kuwakaribisha nyinyi nyote kutoka hapa Nairobi na kutoka sehemu zingine za taifa letu la Kenya. Niwakaribishe leo hapa State House. Karibuni sana. Karibuni sana. Mnajua pale nyuma kuna watu walikuwa wananieleza eti nimeshukisha heshima ya State House kwa kuwakaribisha watu wasio na vyeo kubwa kubwa. Lakini mimi nimewajibu nikawaambia sio heshima ya State House imeshuka, ni heshima ya wananchi imepanda. Kwa sababu nyinyi ndio mnatuchagua sisi. Ni kweli ama si kweli? Nyinyi wakati tunatafuta kura tunawaambia mambo mengi, tunawaheshimu. Lakini saa ile kura imepigwa, wengine wanaanza kuweka viwango. Ndio nikasema mimi nikiwa kiongozi wa taifa letu la Kenya, kwa mapenzi ya Mungu na kwa kura zenu, hapa State House itakuwa mahali ya wananchi wote wa taifa la Kenya. Lakini kusema ukweli, sijawahi kuwa na mkutano mkubwa kama wa leo. Hey! Bwana, leo hapa kuna maneno. Kwa sababu officers wangu wananiambia tuko na watu 27,000 hapa. Na hiyo ndio mkutano mkubwa sana kufanyika hapa State House. Na nimefurahi ya kwamba hiyo mkutano mkubwa wa State House ni wa wananchi wa taifa letu la Kenya, private security officers ambao wanadumisha amani na kuhakikisha kwamba kuna usalama katika taifa letu la Kenya, ndio biashara iendelee, kilimo iendelee, matibabu tupate, watalii watembee. Lazima kuwe na usalama katika taifa letu la Kenya. Na mimi nawashukuru sana kwamba mnajitolea kwa hali na mali kuhakikisha ya kwamba manyumba yetu, makazi yetu, maofisi tulio nayo, viwanda, sehemu ya kazi ziko salama. Mimi nasema asanteni sana. Before many Kenyans wake up, a private security officer is already at work. Through the cold of the night and the silence of dawn, you stand at our gates, in our homes, our schools, hospitals, offices, factories, farms, and places of worship. You welcome us when we arrive, watch over our property while we work, and remain behind when everyone else has called it a day. When danger comes, you are often the first to see it. the first to raise the alarm, and often the first to confront all danger. Yet, behind every uniform is a human being, a father or a mother, a son or a daughter, a citizen working honestly to support a family and to build a future. Today, I welcome you to State House. I welcome you to State House so that our nation can see you, recognize you, and so that we can say thank you. You are not workers on the periphery of our economy. You are indispensable members of our society and essential partners in Kenya's national security infrastructure. The 1.3 million Kenyans employed in the private security sector are not merely looking after our buildings. You are protecting livelihoods, enabling enterprise, and helping to keep our economy moving.
That is President William Ruto at State House, where he met thousands of private security guards, where the president directed private security companies to continue paying statutory deductions like the National Social Security Fund deductions, as well as SHA, and of course effect the government sanctioned minimum wage, which is inclusive of a minimum basic pay of 18,996.94 shillings, as well as house allowance of 2,850 shillings, as well as other overtime allowance of 8,157 shillings. We're working on that report, and so it's going to be on air in our subsequent bulletins. Let's go to the corridors of justice, where Chief Justice Martha Koome has reiterated the judiciary's commitment to fighting graft, saying illegal action will be taken against individuals found culpable. Koome stated that the judiciary enforces a strict zero-tolerance policy, declaring that officers cannot administer justice while simultaneously engaging in criminal conduct. Speaking to the media in Kakamega during her tour of the Western region, Chief Justice Koome reaffirmed the judiciary's commitment alongside other justice sector institutions to combating corruption. She announced plans to expand judicial services in the areas by establishing court services in Likuyani constituency, saying the move will reduce the burden on residents who travel long distances to seek justice.
To assess the needs, the justice needs of this county, we are grateful that we already have a court of appeal, and this court of appeal already has a caseload of 1,000 cases that they are handling.
We have agreed going forward that the governor of this county are going to establish the alternative justice system where the Chief Justice will come to launch officially in the next 2 months. This is something that is going to go a long way in enhancing mediation, because as an alternative to justice, we are trying to encourage mediation.
And former freedom fighters have renewed calls for compensation over atrocities suffered during the colonial era, saying thousands of families continue to suffer decades after Kenya attained independence. The veterans are demanding compensation from both the British as well as Kenyan government, while another veterans association has raised concerns over delays in the compensation process. Our reporter has more.
Former freedom fighters under the Matigari Welfare Association are demanding 550 trillion shillings in compensation from both the British and Kenyan governments for atrocities suffered during the colonial period.
Claimed so many things that was determined by the British colonial government. That was 1952, 53, 54. There should be a well be paid up to even 300 million, even 250 million. It goes according to what you have claimed from the British government.
Meeting at Roringo grounds in Nyeri town, the veterans said families in their estimated 1.2 million members continue to struggle with poverty while waiting for justice.
We are fully expecting that the compensation should be done, and even the government is aware that we are requesting them to give us piece of land. As the chairman have indicated, some of us doesn't have even a place to be called home.
The association also urged the government to crack down on individuals falsely claiming to be Mau Mau veterans in pursuit of compensation benefits.
Sisi ndio harisi wa Mau Mau ambao wanadai fidia ya wananchi wetu. Sisi ndio halali maana tuna certificate ama kibali.
Meanwhile, the Mau Mau War Veterans Association has attributed delays in the compensation process to leadership wrangles and alleged political interference.
Bunge ya kitaifa na Senate tukawaambia tunajua kwamba pesa zetu za dunia mzima under World Federation ni 500 trillion ambayo ni dunia wote ambayo wapiganaji uhuru walitengewa pesa zao.
Chairman James Njuguna claimed the country is entitled to compensation for losses suffered during the struggle for independence, but said the process has stalled due to delays in obtaining the required approvals.
Deputy President Kindiki aliweka sahihi na inafuata utaratibu ambayo ni ya National Administration Village Policy 2024.
The association also resolved to conduct fresh elections in counties experiencing leadership disputes. For Lunchtime News, I'm Jackie Wambiru.
Elsewhere, more than 6,000 squatters in Kiambu County have appealed to the government to settle them after 30 years of being denied their right. The members of Committee Forest Squatters Association claim their resettlement has been stalled by court cases that have been filed by cartels eyeing the land allocated near Roiro town. Speaking at the Thika Environment and Land Court, where one of the protracted cases was postponed for the third time, the squatters expressed their frustrations and pleaded with the President and Lands Cabinet Secretary Alice Wahome to intervene.
Sisi tulifukuzwa kwa hiyo saba. Hata kanyumba ya mabati huwezi ukawekelea. Na sasa tunaona wengine wanakuja wakijenga. Sisi mpaka pesa ya kukoboa nyumba kwa sasa hatuna.
Apologies for that audio hitch. Residents of Jepkoyai in Hamisi sub-county in Vihiga County have raised a red flag over rising cases of insecurity in the area, with some targeting worship places. The latest incident targeted Gamulukunyi PAG Church, where unknown people raided the church, stealing church equipment, an unknown amount of cash, and the pastor's belongings. Speaking at the church premises during a crisis meeting after the incident, Pastor Christopher Musalano called on security agencies to expedite investigations, apprehend the perpetrators, and bring them to book. The Area Assistant Chief, Peter Kavai, appealed to the members of the public to cooperate with security agencies by providing information on criminal activities to enable them arrest the suspects.
Hii mkutano hiyo ni mkutano ambayo italeta matunda ya kubadilisha Gamulunyi. Kwa sababu in the entire Hamisi, unajua Gamulunyi ndio imesikika kila mahali. Sisi wenyewe ndio tutabadilisha. Kama mtoto wako amepatikana kwa uhalifu, alishikwa mahali kama anaiba, alafu apelekwe huko afungwe, ashtakiwe, afungwe. Si kama ni kurekebisha, wata arekebisha, lakini
mtupatie watu ambao wanaweza fanya kazi. Sababu hakuna haja ya kuwa na ofisa ambaye huwezi kumwambia kitu na afanye action kwa hiyo kitu.
Mpaka wakaiba hata Biblia iliyokuwa na pesa ndani. Kwa hivyo tangu nizaliwe miaka hii ambayo niko nayo 46 sijawahi ona mwizi akiiba Biblia.
An UDA party appointment in Ukambani and Mwala Member of Parliament Vincent Musyoka Kawaya has accused former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua of fueling tension and tribalism within the opposition, saying his actions are pushing the coalition towards disintegration.
Speaking in Machakos town during an economic empowerment program for women traders, Kawaya claimed that the ongoing wrangles in the opposition orchestrated by the former deputy president is an indication that the group is going nowhere.
Sasa anaunganisha wa Kenya ama anagawanisha wa Kenya? Si ni kugawanisha wa Kenya? Si mumeona alianzisha, na nataka niambie wale nimeona watu wanalialia sasa. Kina Onyonka na wengine. Kina Peter Munya nimeona sasa wamerealize. Mumeona jana, umeona kumewaka moto kule. Kwa ile walikuwa wanaita united opposition. Sasa imekuwa disunited opposition.
The Mwala MP accused Gachagua for what he termed as belittling communities for political gain.
Sasa, kama mnaona huyo mkabila ameenda chini, mumeona hao wengine wamegawanyika. Kila mtu anaenda pande yake. Wameshindwa kusikizana. Kila mtu anataka kuwa presidential candidate. Ile mambo ya shares imewaingia kabisa.
Meanwhile, a section of women from Meru County has come out strongly in support of Deputy President Professor Kithure Kindiki. The group, at the same time, accused the opposition of engaging in politics that they say undermine the country's progress.
Tukiwa wamama wa Meru na wamama wa Mount Kenya East, tunasema tumejua na tumegundua siri kwamba we are on our own. Na ndio maana tunasema Professor Kindiki Kithure tutasimama naye leo, kesho kutwa na milele.
And Jubilee Party flag bearer Fred Matiang'i has called on those in education sector to do what is just and give every trained teacher a chance to get employed. Matiang'i, who spoke during a campaign tour in Kuria Region, Migori County, claimed that appointment letters for teachers are being sold to the highest bidders.
Fairness, meritocracy and justice. Yes. Tuandikwe wale wanafikia kuandika. Wale mtume anapewa mabarua kwa mvuko, anaanza kutisha watu hapa kijiji, eti anaandika. Tuamini justice, tuamini meritocracy. Kila mtu apate haki yake. Sisi zote ni Wakenya.
Finally, the National Restoration Movement NRM party has ruled out nomination fees for all aspirants seeking various political seats in the 2027 general elections.
Sisi hatuendi kukuwa na nomination. Yule mtu mwenye atakuwa popular kwa polls, huyo ndo tutapea ticket. Hiyo inazuia kukuwa na mvurutano na kuvurugana katika chama.
Sisi tumesema tutafanya scientific polling, mwenye atakuwa popular ndio utapatia tikiti ya chama.
For Lunchtime News, my name is Collins Kefa.
Two representatives of Isak and Hati communities have begun a 300-kilometer walk from Isiolo to Nairobi to petition the government over what they term as historical land injustices. The communities accuse the National Lands Commission of disregarding their land ownership rights and are calling on the head of state to intervene. They say the trek to Nairobi is aimed at drawing national attention to their plight and securing a meeting with the president. Speaking in Nanyuki after covering more than 80 kilometers of the journey, the two claim their communities recently lost more than 70 acres of land where the Isiolo slaughterhouse has been constructed. They are urging the national government to withhold the commissioning of the facility until their grievances are addressed and an alternative land is allocated. They have accused the NLC of frustrating efforts to register more than 800,000 acres of community land.
Kulingana na yale ambaye nimeona katika kaunti ya Isiolo ni kuwa ya kwamba mzozo wa ardhi ndio changamoto kubwa ambaye inalete kutokuwa na usalama katika eneo hii yetu.
Sisi kama jamii in 1965 tulidispossessiwa our property. Leo National Land Commission are erasing this community from the face of Kenya.
Elsewhere, the Teacher Service Commission has dismissed claims by the Kenya Union of Post-Primary Education Teachers that it has failed to safeguard teachers' welfare, including promotions. TSC, however, says that the delays are mainly due to inadequate funding rather than a lack of commitment by the Commission. TSC Acting Chief Executive Officer Evelyn Mitei said teachers' promotion are guided by career progression guidelines and the availability of funds. She pointed to the year's planned promotion of 34,000 teachers following the government allocation of 2 billion shillings as proof of TSC's commitment to improving teachers' welfare.
Of teachers is an issue that the Commission handles year in, year out. Promotions happen based on availability of funding. So the delay is not because the Commission is delaying with the exercise, but sometimes the funds are not available. For the 2 billion we were given, we are promoting 34,016 teachers. So I want to assure our teachers that the Commission is committed in promoting them, but we will promote them within the provisions of the career progression guidelines.
A youth group in Jomvu sub-county has received a major boost following the launch of a community car wash project aimed at creating employment opportunities and steering the youth away from crime. Speaking during the handover ceremony, the presidential political affairs advisor Karisa Nzai said empowering young people through income-generating project is one of the most effective ways of reducing unemployment and political hooliganism, among other vices. He noted that many households are now forced to rely on expensive water vendors, while businesses such as car wash enterprises struggle to remain operational.
Wasaidia hawa ili waweze kuosha magari kwa urahisi. Shida walionayo kubwa hapa na ndio ambayo imekumba eneo hili la Jomvu ni masuala ya maji.
Kitega chetu uchumi ni car wash. Na kwa sababu car wash ni maji na maji ilikuwa yanatusumbua, tukaenda kwa mheshimiwa wetu Nzai na akatusikiza kilio chetu. Leo ametufanyia kile ilikuwa tunahitaji. Mradi utanufaisha hivi vijana wa eneo hili kwa sababu sisi kila kampuni tukifika tunaona nje kumeandikwa hakuna kazi. Tukaamua kujiajiri wenyewe.
Kwanza huko ni maji. Kama unavyoona kisema kilizibwa na mabwenyenye pale. Maji kwa tunaenda paka barabarani kule. Lakini tulivyomuelezea mheshimiwa akatuletea tanki, ametujengea hiyo bezi yake.
You're watching the lunchtime bulletin, and of course we're coming to you live from Broadcasting House. We're taking our first break and we're coming back with more, including in the sports world, as well as in the business, where we shall be telling you why Kenyans are boozing more than ever before. Stay right here.
Do you save for retirement?
Kwani mimi ni mzee? I'm still young and I've got plenty of time to start saving later. Then again, si watu wa jua kali. Hatunanga hizo ma pension plans.
Kwani ujui unaweza register with an individual pension plan yenye iko regulated na RBA?
Inawakaje?
Una deposit any amount of money at any time na uko guaranteed ukikuwa mzee. Maisha yako itakuwa nywe.
Baadaye vile nakushua ni ukweli. Hadi mimi nili boost savings zangu kwa scheme yetu ya job.
Really?
Nilijua siwezi kuwa kijana forever. Sis, usikose kujipanga mapema. Tutakuwa wazee wa maana.
Ebu nionyesheni kuwa mzee wa maana.
Ensure you save and plan for your retirement during your youthful working days.
Provided you are earning an income, you can join a retirement benefit scheme registered by Retirement Benefits Authority and safeguard your tomorrow. RBA, safeguarding your retirement benefits.
Lovely touch and a chance here. She's going to go on the outside. Can she get the shot in? It's a goal for Malawi. And of course it is Tabitha Chawinga. The Scorchers have raised the temperature here in Rabat. A precious goal, an important one, made in Tabitha Chawinga land. And a nod of the head from Lavamore Fazili. A little bit of contact, look at that, she controls it, goes on the outside, deals with Mwemba, and then strikes it past the goalkeeper, Nali. She's so strong, she's so clinical, and that is a fabulous individual effort to offer Malawi a goal to make it 2-1.
Pata makao na boma yangu.
Conan waits, steps up. Conan takes Abbas the wrong way to make it 2-0 for the Côte d'Ivoire. And the joy of these elephants reaches the next level. The frustration for Anastasia Katunzi. And 3 goals. Look at that, straight down the middle. And with Abbas darting off to the right-hand side. Very cool penalty.
Siku zote Waswahili wanakwambia balaa ikikupata usijifanye shujaa.
1 2 3 kuruka kama 3, akili zangu 3 kama soro ya kiatu. Mama nipe 100 niende Tanzania, nilishe familia kwa ugali na dania.
Nasema kwamba shule za bweni hukuza ushirikiano, kwa sababu shule za bweni wanafunzi huwa pamoja kila saa, na hiyo huwa inasaidia wanafunzi kuwa na ushirikiano mzuri.
Ningependa kupinga ambacho mbunge wangu Mike Alexander ameweza kusema, kwa sababu katika shule zingine za bweni wakati ni masaa ya jioni kuna kwa lugha ya Kiingereza inaitwa preps. Kuna wengine ukosa kuenda katika preps na kurandaranda nje ya shule. Lakini katika shule za kutwa kuna sekta fulani kwa lugha ya Kiingereza inaitwa tuition, inayokubalisha wanafunzi kufunzwa mpaka wakati wa jioni. Sasa nimepingana na yeye kwa sababu anatuambia uongo.
Aina 2 kuu za fasihi.
Fasihi simulizi na fasihi andishi.
Taja mfano wa fasihi andishi.
Mfano wa fasihi andishi ni kama novela, riwaya na hadithi.
Watoto hawa wametuonyesha kweli bado ni wadogo, lakini bongo zao zinaweza zikatofautiana, zikakubaliana katika masuala mbalimbali.
Welcome back. You're watching the Lunchtime News. A section of sugarcane farmers in Migori County are urging the government to urgently reform the sugar sector, saying the current challenges being experienced are pushing many cane growers into deeper debt. They are saying failure by the sugar millers to honor contractual agreement leaving mature cane and harvest has led to significant losses. Charles Menya, one of the affected farmers, said for several months he has visited the nearest sugar mills in search of harvesting services, but his efforts have yielded no results, claiming that he is owed more than 500,000 shillings in arrears that has remained unpaid for several years. Sentiments echoed by South Nyanza Cane Farmers Union Secretary Akwings Ondongo, who attributed the prolonged crisis in the sugar industry on continued importation of cheap sugar. They are now calling on the government to introduce measures that protect local farmers and restore stability in the sugar sector.
We are asking the government that they promised us that they were going to pay this money some times back, but has now rolled to a year plus when we have not seen the money coming. I would request our Excellency the President and our members of the community, especially the MPs, to support us in this so that we can get that money and enable us to farm better and also to improve our crops.
Pay our farmers. Their arrears is just a little money. We cannot stay walking to the offices and there is nothing happening. When Kenya is crying that we are having less sugar in the market and doing importation, while we have a lot of cane standing in the fields, what is happening?
On now to educational matters, where 12 primary schools in Kwale County are embracing environmental conservation through tree planting, waste recycling and practical learning initiatives aimed at nurturing a generation committed to protecting the environment. Speaking during the environmental conservation program, education stakeholders said pupils in 12 primary schools across Kwale County are leading efforts to combat climate change through tree planting, recycling paper waste into useful products, and reusing plastic for science project and school beautification. At Matuga Primary School, learners are also raising tree seedlings in nurseries with an initiative aimed at instilling environmental conservation values from an early stage.
Miti tulianzisha kuanzia kwa nasari mpaka wanafunzi wakaelewa jinsi ya kutengeneza nasari, kupanda na kulea hiyo miti. Mpaka kwa sasa ukiangalia mazingira ya Matuga yanavutia.
Tulienda zetu jani, tukaokota makaratasi, tukaja tukachukua bucket na maji, tukaeka hizi papers hapo ndani, tukazisoak for 2 days. Tukaja tukazitoa, come with up idea, tukatengeza a bowl.
Malengo yetu vitu kama hizi products za bookshelf tukizitengeza kwa wingi na kama zinapendeza tunaziuza, na pia ziko hapa ku beautify. Alafu pia zina ukija wageni tukionyesha pia na wanasikia raha.
Elsewhere, residents of Butula constituencies have been urged to embrace regular medical checkups as part of efforts to combat rising cases of non-communicable diseases, particularly diabetes and hypertension, which are prevalent in the area. Speaking at Budonga Dispensary after the conclusion of a series of medical camps held across different parts of Butula, Dr. Lawrence Othiambo of Maseno Mission Hospital said screenings revealed that many residents have not been routinely seeking preventive health checkups. He further noted that many patients are being diagnosed with diabetes and hypertension at advanced stages, where beneficiaries of the medical outreach expressed appreciation for the initiative, calling on leaders and development partners to organize more medical camps to ensure more residents benefit from essential healthcare services.
Tunaishi kwa maisha ya kisasa. Unapata ya kwamba vyakula venye tunakula, chumvi nyingi, mafuta kwa wingi, unapata ya kwamba hizo ni chanzo nyingi sana kwa hiyo ugonjwa ya pressure. So ningehimiza watu wote shughulikie lishe bora, tuachane na bora lishe. Gundulika ya kwamba watu wengi hawajajua ya kwamba wako na ugonjwa ya pressure. Unapata ya kwamba unapima, unapata pressure iko juu sana, na ukimuuliza unapata alianzishwa kwa dawa ameacha, ama amewahi pimwa ikakuwa juu, lakini hakukubali kuanzishwa kwa dawa.
Elsewhere, a group of women from Kiwanja area in Garemara ward, Isiolo County, have abandoned charcoal burning in favor of goat trading, a shift that has significantly improved their livelihoods while helping conserve the environment. The women attribute their success to financial literacy, training and participation in village savings and cooperative groups, which have enabled them to save more and expand their businesses, an achievement they say would never have been possible through charcoal burning.
Kuimarisha ama kutunza environment, kuhakikisha kwamba wanawake na vijana pia wanachukua nafasi yao katika mambo ya ufugaji.
Nilikuwa nikikata makaa ndio ukate upate mapato ya chakula hata ya school fees. Kaona ni heri nibadilishe hiyo kazi juu kwa sababu ni ngumu. Tukajiunga kama wamama, tukaanza kusave, tukawekeza hiyo pesa. Ilipofika wakati wa kuchukua loan ndio tukaanza kuchukua loan, na ndio tukabadilisha kazi. Tukaanza kuuza mbuzi, kondoo, ndio ikakuwa kazi yetu.
Let's now head to the trading floor, where Science, Research and Innovation Principal Secretary Professor Shaukat Abdul Razak says the government is equipping young innovators with artificial intelligence skills and stepping up support to youth-led innovations through mentorship and technology hubs. Speaking during the 9th Young Scientist Kenya National Science and Technology Exhibition in Nairobi, Professor Abdul Razak said early exposure to artificial intelligence will help learners apply emerging technologies to solve community challenges and prepare for future careers.
One of the roles that we have is to take them through the Innovation Academy, be able to mentor them, be able to train them so that we can take these ideas to prototype and prototype towards commercialization. So what we are saying, we will not going to leave these things at this place here, but we are going to pick the best innovators here and be able to take them through. The government is very committed in terms of funding this ecosystem so that we can have a knowledge and innovation-led economy.
Elsewhere, East African Breweries Company has reported a 49% jump in full-year net profit to 18.2 billion shillings, up from 12.2 billion shillings. The Brewers Group Managing Director Jane Karoko says the performance attributes the performance to higher sales and improved operational efficiency. EABL has recommended a final dividend payout of 8 shillings and 70 cents per share.
Revenue rose 13% to 146 billion shillings, with Kenya remaining EABL's largest business.
Because I said the other driver is that we are always researching on what the consumer wants. So once you understand the consumer dynamism, then you're able to answer the portfolio. So I'll say the first thing is a great portfolio. The second one would be the route to market. Route to market for us continues to be a competitive edge, and we have a strong route to market across all the countries, particularly in Kenya.
Uganda maintained steady momentum despite a challenging operating environment, while Tanzania was the fastest growing market due to expanding distribution that pushed up sales.
13% growth in revenue, 49% growth on profit after tax, and also the earning per share also significantly improved by about 59%. I think also what's even more important is the free cash flow. We continue to generate cash. We closed the year with free cash flow of 22 billion, up from 17 billion last year. And also we continue to deleverage the business. We reduced our debt by about 5.8 billion shillings.
Karoko says the firm absorbed a 1.2 billion shillings cost due to the shilling's depreciation against major import currencies comprising of the British pound and euro. The Brewers Board has recommended a final dividend of 8 shillings and 70 cents per share, pushing up the total dividend payout for the year to 12 shillings and 70 cents per share, up by 58.8% from the previous financial year. Karoko cautioned that illicit and second-generation alcohol remains one of the biggest threats to the formal beverage industry and urged governments across East Africa to formalize the informal alcohol market through appropriate regulation to rake in more revenue and create a level playing field for compliant manufacturers.
Huge opportunity because it means it's like almost a white space, where if we were able to recruit a lot of people from illicit, that would bring them into the tax bracket. And therefore everybody would be happy. From the business and also from government, they would rake more taxes, and also from a health and safety perspective, because then you're able to consume. If you want to take or must take alcohol, you're taking a safe offer.
Regina Manyara reporting for KBC Channel 1.
Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe says the government will not allow in imported sugar since there is sufficient sugarcane in the country for milling. Kagwe says no sugar imports will be cleared to access the local markets until mature sugarcane on farms is processed in a move aimed at cushioning local sugarcane farmers.
Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe says the government is not issuing sugar import licenses since there is enough sugarcane locally for milling. Sugar factories and traders have been directed to source all their sugarcane locally.
What the sugar board has told me, as at now, in August, what we have produced in terms of sugar from the sugar factories that you people take to is almost the same as what we produced the whole of last year. We are not going to import sugar at the risk of the local industry. That I can assure you.
To further incentivize the subsector, the National Treasury is expected to release 265 million shillings as the final payments owed to farmers by the least state-owned sugar millers.
2.2 billion. Na sasa imebaki 265 million.
Kagwe has directed that the election of outgrowers directors be held on 5th of next month.
The way to discourage anybody in parliament from proposing anything else is to have effective elections. Na hiyo maneno tumali.
Benson Drioba reporting for Lunchtime News.
Let's move on now to financial performance, where NCBA Group has posted a 12.2 billion NCBA Group has posted a 12.2% increase in net profit to 12.4 billion shillings, driven by higher digital loans and steep rise in loan loss provisions. The Lenders Board has recommended an interim dividend of 3 shillings and 75 cents per share, up from 2 shillings and 50 cents paid in the corresponding period last year.
The group disbursed 324.4 billion shillings in net loans and advances to customers, up from 288.1 billion shillings during a similar period last year. From this, the lender booked 36.5 billion shillings in total interest income, up 7.6%, lifted by higher interest income on government securities, after interest income on loans and advances was flat at 20.4 billion shillings. Increased lending came at a cost as NCBA Group pushed up loan loss provisioning from 3.2 billion shillings to 5.2 billion shillings. In addition, the lender disbursed 819 billion shillings in digital loans, representing a 26.9% year-on-year growth. The increased lending also pushed up the lender's total assets by 11.5% to 739.4 billion shillings. And Stanbic Bank Kenya has reported 6.48 billion shillings in the first half net profit, which is flat when compared to earnings a year ago. Loans and advances to banks and customers increased 16.7% to 360.2 billion shillings. From this, the lender booked 12.3 billion shillings in net interest income, up 4.1% year-on-year. In addition, non-interest income was flat at 7.6 billion shillings. Gross non-performing loans reduced 5.1% to 22.73 billion shillings, prompting the lender to slash loan loss provisions by half to 725 million shillings. Total assets climbed from 473.7 billion shillings to 602.2 billion shillings. Stanbic Bank Kenya has recommended an interim dividend payout of 1 shilling and 64 cents per share, which is more than half compared to the 3 shillings and 82 cents per share paid last year. Ndotamo Kami for Lunchtime News.
Time now for international business news, where West African officials and business leaders are stepping up discussions on the planned eco-single currency, with the ECOWAS project targeting a July 2027 launch as countries work to deepen regional trade as well as integration. The proposed currency, expected to be introduced in phases, will depend on member states meeting economic benchmarks and agreeing on the structure of a regional central bank. Here are more details.
Cross-border traders say a common currency could reduce exchange costs and boost commerce across West Africa by eliminating the need for multiple currency conversions. Business groups have backed a cautious rollout, urging ECOWAS to prioritize economic stability, strong institutions and private sector participation rather than treating ECO as only a political project. Economists, however, warn that countries must address inflation, public debt, and fiscal challenges before a regional currency can deliver the promised benefits, as technical talks continue ahead of implementation. Meanwhile, U.S. President Donald Trump's administration has paid $100 billion in Liberation Day tariff refunds to businesses through customs officials. This represents about 60% of all tariff revenue collected by the government under the policy, according to a recent court filing from U.S. Customs and Border Protection. However, a significant chunk of money remains unpaid. About $29 billion in potential refunds is undergoing review by trade authorities, while another $1.6 billion is stuck because importers have not yet supplied their banking details. The repayments follow a major Supreme Court decision in February in which judges ruled that broad import tariffs introduced under economic powers were unlawful. Finally, Brent crude rose 0.11% to settle at $79.45 a barrel on the London ICE Futures Exchange, as Iran and Oman reached an agreement on vessel transit through the Strait of Hormuz. Iran's foreign ministry spokesman Ismail Bakel has, however, warned that a deal with Oman would not guarantee safe navigation through the strait, arguing security remained impacted by the U.S. blockade of Iran's port. Since the start of the conflict between U.S. and Israel and Iran in February, the Strait of Hormuz has largely been blocked, through which about a fifth of the world's oil and liquefied natural gas usually passes.
Time now for sports, where Malawi secured a historic place in the quarterfinals of the 2026 Total Energies CAF Women's Africa Cup of Nations WAFCON, despite falling 2-1 to Zambia in the final Group C match on Wednesday. Although the Scorchers were beaten on the night, results elsewhere working in their favours as they finished top of Group C on goal differences, edging out defending champions Nigeria to reach the knockout stages for the first time. And of course, remember WAFCON Eco KBC. Kenya struck gold, silver and bronze in the 5,000 finals on the first day of the 2026 World Athletics Under-20 Championship in Oregon, USA on Wednesday night. World Cross Country Under-20 champion Franklin Kibet produced a dominant performance as he led Kenya's to a 1-2 finish in the men's 5,000 finals, cruising the finish line in 13 minutes 28 seconds to bag the first gold for the country. Dismas Otuke, who is in the United States, has more.
Kipnagino, has he got one last kick? Kibet's got away. Kibet's got 3.
The team's captain Nehemiah Kipngeno also signed out his under-20 career with the silver medal in a time of 13 minutes 30.09 seconds as the Me-Too Kebede of Ethiopia settled for a bronze.
Captain nilipata ya kwanza nikafurahia, nikasema hii ya track tena lazima na make sure nimepata gold tena.
The victory ensured Kenya retained the title won by Andrew Kiptoo Alamisi in 2024 in Lima, Peru. Earlier on, Kenya's co-captain Joylin Chepkemoi had bagged a bronze medal in the women's 5,000 meters final in a personal best time of 15 minutes 9.08 seconds, while her compatriot Cynthia Chepkurui finished fourth. Ugandan Charity Cherop claimed victory in 15 minutes 3.88 seconds.
Kila mtu alikuwa strong. Ilikuwa tu calculation ya mtu kwa hiyo mbio na finishing tena. Hapo tu ndio niliona nilikuwa na challenge kidogo finishing. Plus hivyo race haikuwa mbaya, ni hali ya kuvumilia tu kawaida.
In other results of day one, Mercy Chepngeno and Natasha Cheptoo both cruised to the 3,000 meter steeplechase final, while Constant Terra and Nahashon Kiach both made it to the 800 meters. Same is set for this Friday. With the result, Kenya sits on the top of the medal table with the gold, silver and the bronze ahead of Brazil, Uganda and hosts USA, who are tied with the gold medal apiece.
And Muli's Children's Family School emerged as the biggest winners in the baseball final at the Kenya Secondary Schools Sports Association National Games after clinching both the boys and girls titles at the JKU Art Baseball Court. The championships attracted more than 10 schools underlining the growing popularity of the sports in learning institutions in the country.
Muli's Children's Family kept off an impressive campaign by winning the boys' national baseball title after defeating St. Anne's Musoli 10 runs to 7 in an entertaining final played at the JKUAT baseball court.
To our government, we'll be hoping that it will help in supporting this game, because the equipment to find them is not just easy. We just do import them, and feeling like importing the equipment is too expensive for some individuals.
The school girls team also dominated in the competition, beating Nkaimrunya 15 runs to 6 to complete a memorable double victory.
Tumekuja number 1, and what we expect from here ni kwenda Morogoro, Tanzania, kurepresent East Africa, na natumai kwa kila kitu kitakuwa sawa.
More than 10 schools participated in the tournament, with the competition providing young players an opportunity to showcase their talent while promoting baseball in schools across the country.
This is the first time that this is happening in the history of our country, and we are definitely glad that now baseball is getting into the system of secondary school games, and not only for the boys, but also for the girls.
Baseball Federation of Kenya President Titus Muturi hailed the inclusion of baseball in the national school games, describing it as a significant milestone in the sports development.
We are working with the counties, and we have registered a number of counties, and these counties we've started actually going around the counties, creating awareness, but also conducting baseball technical training clinics.
And of course, from the State House lawns to the trading floor, we've taken you to all the fields of news. Remember to join us again at 7 p.m. and of course 9 p.m. for more bulletins. My name is O'Brien Kimani. For more information, always log on to our website, reportw.kbc.co.ke. We'll see you again this evening. Have a good afternoon.
Get ready for a captivating continental football extravaganza. KBC Channel 1 brings you exclusive coverage of the 2026 Women's Africa Cup of Nations, WAFCON. From Sunday the 26th of July to Sunday the 16th of August 2026, welcome to Morocco is the battleground as Nigeria defend their title against 15 other nations fighting to lift the prestigious trophy. Who will be crowned Queens of African Football? Courtesy of the Ministry of Youth Affairs, Creative Economy and Sports. Watch all the action unraveling on KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
Lepe. Off goes Catalana again, and Catalana spotting the goalkeeper off her line, tries her luck, just past the post for Tembi Catalana. They're very quick thinking from the South Africa forward. Excellent peripheral vision from South Africa's goal scorer. Well onside, as you can see. Dabilgu, well, where was she? She didn't get the contact she would have wanted. Catalana, I think she would have wanted to lift that over the goalkeeper.
It was a really great team effort. I think in the history of South African football, this team always comes back to perform, and we knew how much it was important for us to first get this victory, and then we'll see everything that comes from it.
And your player of the match, what does it mean? I know you are a team player, but what does it mean to get this individual accolade?
For me, it's a boost. Personally, I started slow with the tournament as the third game, and I think I'm getting my momentum. And thanks to my teammates, I don't think I would be here today if it wasn't for them, for their encouragement, all the challenges and difficulties we face every day in training. And this belongs to them more than it belongs to me.
Group B is roasting hot in terms of permutations because all 4 teams can qualify for the knockout stages of this competition.
The Lady Elephants of Cote d'Ivoire displayed another beautiful performance against the Twiga Stars of Tanzania to beat them 2-1 in their final Group B match and advance to the quarterfinals with an unbeaten record as the unstoppable group winners.